Chessmaster All Rats. I'm giving a simultaneous exhibition at chess.com. I'm not sure how many games I have going. I hope I got to everybody that was in live chess. If I didn't, I'm sorry. I did my best. Send me a message, although you won't get this. Essentially, I'm playing the King's Indian attack, and the first 9, 10, 11 moves are set. Let me just go forward here. It's an easy opening to play. You bring out your knight. You fianchetto your king's bishop, your castle on the fourth move, usually. Sometimes the fifth move, but if black has a center pawn, e5 and d5, you stop and play d3 first to prevent e4. Or, well, won't prevent it, but white gets a good game. Then you advance the d pawn, and at this point you bring out the bishop. You're prepared to trade it off, and here it goes. Now I cover b2, and by pushing the pawn to c3. That's the method here, and we'll see this in some other games. Okay, see, I've got the same setup here. I used to, one time, keep the bishop on c1, and it kind of got in the way. It didn't get developed. Often I'd play b3, put it on b2, develop the queen rook over to d1. You know, the queen's got to get up to c2, then drop the bishop back to c1. That's kind of complicated. I've discovered it's just okay to go ahead and trade it, but make black spend a tempo. Okay, so now the objective here, we've reached our stock 11 moves, is to play e4, and you know, you can pretty much play these against any opening. Now here I bring the bishop to g5, which is, it won't let me back things up unless I'm on the move. Let's just kind of review this. See, bring the knight out, get castled, bring the bishop out, and now I'm going to get the queen up to c2, and the c3 pawn is an anchor in this defense. It enables the white queen to go to c2, and black won't be able to chase it out with a knight. Like in this position, see the knight on c6, it can't go to b4 or d4. Okay, now what I've got to do, at some point I will take this knight off, but I don't like to do it on my own. I want black to spend a tempo with h6, so I'll leave it there. But I have to be careful in some positions that the bishop doesn't get trapped and have no place to go. Okay, so for instance, my 10th move here will be e4, but I have to make sure I don't accidentally drop this bishop. So I'll go ahead and play e4 here. I'm not sure how many games I have going on. Okay, I've reached my 11 moves here. Now the next step is to get the rooks developed. So I'll put a rook on e1. The objective of this, it clears f1 for either a knight or a bishop. The bishop, well, let's see, if the d pawn, black's d pawn takes my e pawn will take back. And sometimes the bishop comes into play on f1 into c4, or sometimes I'll put a knight on c4, which I can't do now, but it can always get to e3 by way of f1. And then if black ever pushes e5, I have some pressure on the f5 square. So here, just a standard follow-up. Okay, so now here, black has played h6. Now this changes the white position just a little bit. Okay, I can't play bishop g5, so I'm not able to trade it off like I normally do. Okay, so Carly, you're clever. You broke my preparation. So what I have to do is I have to fall back on the old plan and let the bishop sit. Let the bishop sit on c1 for a while. So I'll just go through with knight bd2, c3. Now let's see, d3. Okay, now knight bd2. So I'm able to play a lot of this opening quickly. Now here we spent the tempo with h6, so I'm happy to do that. And now I play knight bd2. Now knight bd2. Okay, now let's see, knight bd2. Okay, there's h6. I've got him to spend the tempo. Okay, so bishop takes, and now queen c2. All right, now knight bd. Oh wait, I can't rush. See, b2's hanging, so I have to stop and cover that first. I have to switch moves here with c3. Okay, now I guess I've got everybody on the move. How many games do I have going? I don't know. Let's try to figure that out. I think I have about 7, 8, or 9. I've been handling 6, but I can handle this many. Now's my move here. He castled. Okay, so now I go ahead with e4. I've got my 11 moves in. my standard 11 moves. Now queen c2. There's my 10th move. My next move will be e4. Okay, now knight d8. What's he trying to do? Put the knight on e6, attack the bishop. Okay, fine. I'm prepared to give this bishop up. Potential, could black try to play f4 and try to a kingside attack at some point? Well, if he wants to try that, we let him. So what I do is I just go forward with my stock plan, put the rook on e1. Now there's a little pressure on b2. Okay, normally I don't see this happen. Somebody's sending me an alert. Okay, you want to be my friend? Okay, you can be my friend, but you're too late for the simul because I don't... Well, let's see. What was his name? Maybe he's already on the list. Maybe he forgot to put himself on the list. Let me bring the list up. Is Alex JHD on the list? Because, you know, I can't find you in live chess unless you're on my friends list. I'm looking to see if he signed up in advance. Okay, I don't see his name, so if you want to play me in the simul, sign up and be ready to catch me another time. Okay, so that's closing that. Okay, so I got a little problem on B2, which kind of breaks my preparation. So I have to stop and think. See, normally I'm going to play. Normally I'm going to play C3 here, but it drops the pawn. So also what I can do, I have an option to take on f6 and give black double pawns. That temporarily guards the b2 square. And let's see. Bishop takes f6, g takes f6. I could go ahead and play c3. And then if queen takes b2, I can play rook b1. I'm offering another pawn. He can take either the a pawn or the c pawn, but then I take the b7 pawn. And the black king is under a little bit of duress. He can't, if he castles queenside, he might castle into an attack. Do I want to gambit a pawn? Or do I want to stop and waste a move with b3? Well, b3 kind of goes against the system a little bit. I could do that next move. But I think just the fact that I can give black double pawns make his king unsafe on both sides of the board. Okay, so now I have kind of spent my moves. Now I can create a pawn imbalance with e takes. He can't take with the e pawn because his pawn is an e6 is pinned. I've done this pawn structure before. I'm experienced with this. I don't mind if he's on the c file. His knight is not really poised to molest my queen on c2. I'm going to go ahead and take this and then put the knight on d4. That's a good square. Then I kind of have some pressure on b5. I've done this before. Okay, now e6. Okay, we're in the system still, so c3. And he took with the pawn. Now, let's see. I can tempo that bishop first and follow through with the plan e4. Let's do that. Okay, see how that comes out. Okay, now he's on the pawn, but I just play queen c2 here, and I've got what I want. Okay, now I believe the move I was saying was knight d4, and that's a good outpost for my knight. And let's just put it there. Now I'm going to get rid of the bishop. Bishop takes f6. Okay, now bishop g5. Okay, on the pawn, so c3 covers my pawn, prepares queen c2. Okay, so now he's attacking the bishop, and I'll just go ahead and liquidate it. Okay, now I take back with the e-pawn, and I take back with the e-pawn. Okay. What did he play here? Bishop g7. He came back. Now I just go through with e4. See, this is easy system to play. You don't have to stop and think about a lot of things unless the move order varies ever so much. Now I go ahead with e4. Wow, this is easy. Okay. Now what I can do is, because I've got control of c4, I can play knight c4 and tempo his queen. And that guards the b pawn. I'm not getting c3 in yet. That's one drawback with this. After his queen moves, I have to protect the pawn on e4. Okay, now, what if he gets clever? Knight c4, queen b4. Now he's attacking my knight on c4 and my pawn on e4. Well, I can move knight fd2, and I'm covering. I've got the hatches battened down just fine. Okay, so I don't have to undertake a risky pawn sacrifice, or potentially risky pawn sacrifice here. And, you know, black may very well castle queenside here in a moment. Okay, now, am I ready for e4? The answer is no. I need to get the queen to c2 to do that. Okay, let's see, bishop f6. He took, okay, now I need to get a knight to e3. If I can go to c4, is he going to push f4? That weak, try to do anything on the f file? Well, you know, let him. d5 is a nice looking square, although he can cover with c6. I need some development. I mean, let's just redeploy the knight. It's going to happen anyway. Putting the knight on c4 keeps f1 clear for my bishop. Okay, now I just liquidate the bishop. Okay, now I've played e4 and he's castled. Okay, so now I'm out of my book, so to speak. I've played my first 11 moves, and now I'll just stop. Okay, wait, I got to be careful. Putting the rook on e1 weakens f2. Can he exploit it? Well, he could play bishop c5. Okay, but then I can play knight f1, and the queen on c2 secures f2, and then my knight's ready to hop to e3. Okay, so rook fe1 is the move. Now let's see, the bishop's come to f6. He's taken my knight. Now I just play queen c2, and we have it. Okay, now he puts his queen back on c7. Okay, so here I'm going to play. Wait a minute. He's on this pawn. Okay, I want to play c3, but he's on the pawn. I've got to cover it. Now he can't castle queenside here, so rook e1 tempts him to play rook d8. Now my queen's on the take. I would like to get the queen to c2, but I can't. So rook e1, rook d8. Now where do I put my queen? If I put it on e2, knight d4 comes in. Let's see. See, I want to encourage him to play rook d8 just so he can't castle queenside. Although if he does castle queenside, that provides me a little target. I can start a queenside pawn storm. I'm going to try and do some to castle kingside, and I'm not necessarily intending to attack him on the king. And it's funny, this is the King's Indian attack, and I don't play this like an attack necessarily. I don't really attack the king. I just play a positional game and allow black to equalize, and we start maneuvering. It's a simple system to play, and that's what I'm teaching, so I'm the best exponent of it. I teach it. But here at I'm at the crossroads. I need to find a move. I need to cover e2. Now if I play knight fd2 is in the other line, he's allowed to castle queenside. So I'm just going to play rook f. Okay, let's look at this. Rook f1, or rook e1. If rook d8, I have the option of putting my queen on c1. That keeps his bishop from going to h6, and then I can still play c3. And I got the hatches battened down. Rook c1, rook e1, queen, rook d8, queen c1, knight d4, c3. And then he plays knight takes f3, bishop takes f3, and I'm okay. Okay, so rook e1 is my move. Okay, now follow through with the system. Queen c2. Okay, bishop g5, knight bd2. Okay. Okay, now e4. See, it's easy. You just keep playing chess here. Okay, now I'm ready for knight c4 perhaps. I knew f4 was coming. Not too worried about it. I don't want to take and activate his bishop on g5 or f6. He's stopping from going to e3 and getting to d5. but then again, and I have some nice control over e5. Suppose I take. Pawn takes. If he takes with the pawn, am I poised for e5? Pawn takes. He's covering it with his bishop, knight, and queen. He's got too many defenders. I don't have enough. Let's see. I could play a safe, solid. Well, if I play rook e2, I'm looking at rook e2, I might run into a nuisance pin with bishop g4. Of course, I do like the idea of taking that pawn simply on f4, simply because it shuts the f-file down. And then I can play d4, and then I'm getting ready for e5. So let's see, imagine that with a pawn on d4, e5, pawn takes, knight takes, bishop takes, knight takes. Yeah, I have it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and expose my king a little bit and try an experiment here. Okay, so rook fd8. Now, I've played my moves here. I have knight c4, attacks his queen. Then I'm getting ready for knight e3. Yeah, knight c4 seems like the positional move here. Okay, now what's happening here with castle queenside? He's trying to attack my king. Okay, so that means I try to attack your king. All's fair in love and war. You're going to castle long, I'm going to attack your king. So let's see, a4 is the thematic move. Now I play d4 and get ready for e5. Okay, now what's happening here? Rook to d8. What's loose? Anything? No, I can play knight c4 and be ready to pose on the d file. Knight c4 might run into an annoying bishop a6. So let's consider playing rook e1 ahead of time, with the idea that he can't pin me and my knight can move. Okay, now let's see. He's retreated the queen. Now, do I want to play e5? It's not a move I commonly play. It gives him d5. Or do I want to just go through the thematic knight e3? I believe that's what I want to do here. Okay, so now he starts his pawn up. So I'm going to, one way to meet a wing attack is to thrust in the center. So that's what I'm going to do. e5 and go from there. Okay, rook b8. He's preparing b5. Okay, I've shot my basic 10 moves. Here, 11 moves. Let's see. Time to come up with a plan. Knight c4, b5, knight e3. The knight's where I want it to be. He pushes b4. I don't mind that at all. Okay. I'm going to have to figure out how many games I have. Okay, he retreated his bishop. Now that gives me a discovery. I can take on d6, and he's got slight problems. Okay, now he retreats his bishop. Where's it going? Is he planning to put it on g6 and pressure e4? Let's see, what can I do to stop that? I can put my knight on h4. And that invites him to play g5, weakening his king side. Then my knight has to go back to f3. Then he can drop the bishop back to g6. He's on this, and my knight has to move again to guard the pawn. But that's okay. The knight can go back to d2. He can gain a tempo. Queen d7 attacks the knight, but I can swing the rook over. I think I want to play knight h. Well, I want to play knight h4, but I also have to concern myself that if this knight moves, where's it going to move? Knight g5? Or I'm sorry, knight h7, threatening bishop takes h4. Where's my knight go next? What if I play e5 here? Like I say, it's not really a move I want to play. I'm going to just take a moment here and try to figure out how many games I have going, because I don't really know how many games I have going. Let's see, I think this is it. Okay. It's hard to say how many games I have. I'm trying to move the arrow over. It's not moving anymore. It indicates there's more to that side. Let's go all the way to the end. Okay, versus Chicky Chicky. That was my first one. 1, 2, 3, 4 versus Jet Fighter. Okay, Jet Fighter is 4, M. Guevara is 5, Mini Java is 6, Nobody Knows is 7, Pimp Slap is 8, Ryan Alpha is 9, Found Town is 10. You just have 10 games. Okay, well, that'll work. All right, now knight e3. Okay, queen c7. Now I'm ready for e4. Let's see. Okay, e4. All right, now he did let my knight go into f5, but he's not threatening the knight. You know, it's not under attack. This weakens d5. Can I do anything with that? Knight f5 drives his queen away. I can play f4. That looks a little risky. Weakens my king side, and I'm not really threatening pawn takes, although because this knight can take back. Let's see. d5 is weaker. How can I exploit that? I have a new pin. I can play c4. Oh, that just doesn't seem to be positionally good. It's gonna, even if I take the pawn, I'm gonna have doubled d pawns, and I've given up control of b4. And even though it may not look critical now, it could be. So let's see. The common sense says develop another piece. What can I develop? I put my rook on d1. Do I want it? I mean, a rook on d1. Do I want it there? Do I want to put my knight on b5? Do I want to reinforce a knight? Let's see, knight 2 b3. Where's that knight going next? It's not. Knight f5. Knight f5 attacks his queen. He plays something like queen e6. I can play d4 and d4. Now he can push e4. See, knight f5, queen e6, d4, e4. Now my knight's under pressure, but the knight can come back to e3 then, and I've got a little indirect pressure on d5. I'm not sure where my a rook belongs. I could try to double rook e2, but I'm not quite sure the rooks want to be doubled on the e file just yet. Trying to find a good waiting move. I mean, I don't have to play knight f5, but I want to, if I can, I want to try to get some strong points here. Getting a pawn to d4 stops his knight from going to c5, and it does type some of his pawns down to dark squares, or I mean to light squares. So I'm going to go ahead and try it and move on to the next game. Okay, now stock opening take here. Now let's see. He's playing h5, so he's going for the attack. That's fine. I've played a4 as my last move, so I'm clearly going for the attack. Let's see. I can always play h4 here. h4 stops his attack. If he plays g5, I take it. He has to prepare g5, rook g8. And he's going to get it in h5. When he plays g5, pawn takes, knight takes, knight takes, rook takes. I'm okay there. I'm just going to play h4. I'm going to try to defend against the attack this way. Okay, now I cover c3. Okay, what's happening? He attacked my queen. Now, what was I saying? Queen c1, not queen e2, allowing him a tempo. And this takes the h6 away from his h6 square away from his bishop. Okay, so let's see. I played knight e3 here, and he put his bishop on h5. What was I talking about? Knight h4. Didn't I move here? I thought I moved. Let's see. It says he's disconnected and has 5 minutes to reconnect. Yeah. Oh well. Let's get a move in here. let's just put this rook on d1. Okay. So now he's moved his queen. Let's see. If I take the pawn, I think I'm okay. I can take a pawn here. Now I take this pawn. Okay, now there's pressure on f2, but that shouldn't be a problem. My queen is covering it. So I put the rook on e1 so I don't run into pins. So now knight c4. Okay, bishop went back to h7. Carly-Ann is being a bratty right now. Haha. Okay, that's a little message here about Carly's daughter. Okay, what do I want to do here? Okay, there's a little message. Okay. So I can't move the knight from d2 because the pawn on e4 is hanging. So here I just take a little preventive maintenance and I guard it. Okay, now I've won a pawn, but I'm not so worried about a pawn. Now I'm going to attack the center. Okay, knight e5. Okay, a5. What's he doing? Planning to put his bishop on a3. Well, he could have done that already. Okay, so now I just park the knight on. Well, if I park the knight on c4, this knight could move and e4 is hanging, but I can cover that. I don't know. I like the knight where it's at. I'll just develop my rook. Now I got to be careful. Come on, move, mouse. If he trades rooks, it takes my rook off the e pawn, but he's not attacking it very seriously. Okay, rook d1. Okay, now knight takes. Okay, now let's see, bishop b7. I have knight d5, but I'm not so worried about that. You can always kick it out. What file could open up? If he pushes c4, the d file could open. I think it's time to put a rook on d1. Just kind of follow intuition here sometimes. Now my rook takes. And okay, now he's giving me the she's giving me the f5 square. Okay, perfect. So what I want to do is play knight c4, knight e3, knight h4, and stick a knight on f5 if I can. But I can move the knight to c4, but I can't bring it back to e3 because e4 will hang. So if knight c4 and b5, I can't bring it back to e3. Tricky, huh? Okay, so let's gotta protect e4 first and play knight h4. Okay, c6. I'm still on my 10 moves here, initial 10 moves. Okay, queen g6, pinning my pawn. I can play knight h4. I can play a knight to e5. Does that do anything? Knight ce5. Knight takes on the queen. I can play knight h4 here. Attacks the queen. Overprotects e4. Invites black to weaken his king structure with g5. Let's try it. Okay. Okay, what's happening here? He's castled. Now I'm still in the book. Queen c2. Okay, now queen went back to h7. Now, do we let him play g5? Yeah, we let him play g5 and weaken the king side. So now I'm able to play knight e3. Ta-da. Okay. Now the queen came here with a threat. The threat being f3. Okay, so I can stop that. My bishop is pinned, by the way. I can go threaten a mate of my own. I can play rook e7. Rook e7 threatens queen takes h7 mate. That allows bishop f5. And then my queen can check on b6. Or b3 rather. This is kind of interesting. I'm going to stop and sort my way through this one. Let's see. And I hear lots of clicks in the background, meaning my clock is running everywhere. I can always play h3 or f3. Problem with f3 is I imprison my bishop. But if I don't play it, then he plays f3, and I cry because I'm about to get mated. Let's see. Queen b3 check. King h8. No, I don't want to do that. Rook e7, bishop f5. On my queen. Queen b3 check. His problem is bishop on f5 guards h7. What do I want to do here? Don't quite know. I got plenty of time on this game, but I'm not quite sure what I want. Whoops! I'm not quite sure what I want to do. What to do here? Who knows? Okay. I can play king h1. It's a nice waiting move. It unpins my bishop, and then on f3, I can put my bishop on f1, and then my bishop is ready to come into play on c4 with check. King h1 looks like a simple, safe move that takes away the threats and keeps the critical squares covered. h2 could be a problem. Bishop f1. I'm sorry, king h1, f3, bishop f1, rook f6, with the idea of rook h6 and queen h4, and that's a long way off for black to attempt to mate. I get moves too, and at the moment his king is kind of loose as well. Here I've allowed attack because I thought that I could stop it, and let's see. I'm going to come back to this game. I got plenty of time. Let me see what's happening in these other games. Okay, now still in the book, e4. Okay, his last move was, oh, it's chicky. Okay, now I can play knight c4. And I don't want to take that ugly bishop. I want to get the knight controlling f5. Okay, so knight c4. Okay, now we got, still in the book. Wow, I mean, I still got games in the book. Well, that means these people are taking their time. That's good. Okay, now what I was saying was I was going to play d4 and cover my knight. I cover my knight. And if he takes, I have the blockade of the isolated queen pawn. Okay, so he played rook g8 as expected. And now what I need to do is continue with what I'm doing, which is attack him on the queen side. I'll come back to this one. I have 80 minutes left. I have plenty of time. Okay, there's a massive expansion on the queen side going on by my opponent. Okay, what does that mean I do? Well, I keep my knight on e3 in case he pushes c4 or b4 because I get the c4 square. So here I just simply Put a rook on the center file. It's kind of funny. Oh, there's that game again. I didn't want to move there yet. B5 attacking the knight. Does it go to E3? No, it goes. No, it can't go to E3 because I hang the pawn. So it's got to go to D2. Yeah. Okay. Now what's happened here? I've stopped him from castling queenside. Hooray. Okay, back in this game again. Wasn't sure what I wanted to do there. And still not sure what I want to do. So, let's see. I want to come back on this one. I don't want to look at this one now. Okay, rook d1 is his move. It's let's see. I've moved here. It's not my move there. It's still my move here. I got to figure out what to do here. Rook e1 I moved. Do I have any? No, that's the last game. Let's go back. Okay. What was his last move? Knight e5. Okay, what's he threatening? Or what is he threatening to go to d3? No. Is he threatening to go to f3? No. Is he threatening to take on e4? Possibly. The idea is knight or g5. I move my knight, and then e4 hangs. If I play f3, g5 traps the knight. What if I play f4 myself? That's not normally a move I play. I step into a pin with the knight on e3. It stops knight. No, you can play knight g4. Yeah, he can because it's pinned. So f4 is not quite what I want to do here. Often I play a move like f3, but then I run into trouble with my knight. So, did I just put a knight on e3? Maybe it's misplaced. Don't know. Let's see. Let's think about this one. So, let's see. If I f4, knight g4, and I think I'm going to drop material. Let's see. Is he threatening g5? I can play h3. That'll keep the knight out of g4. But he still plays g5. My knight goes back to f3, and e4 falls. Don't tell me I bungled a pawn already. Okay, well, maybe I did. You know, I'm just following a set opening, and sometimes, you know, your ideas get refuted. It's a pretty easy system to play, but it's not perfect. Every position, everyone plays a little differently against it. And in this case, knight e5 might be a good move. So let's see. Well, let's see. Where can I put the knight? I could put the knight on f1. Then he gets knight g4 in, and f2 is loose. So, not quite sure about that. Let's see. Sometimes you just can't do exact, you know, you got this real reasonable game going, but then there's one little tactical flaw and it spoils the whole thing. And maybe I've got that tactical flaw here. Let's see. Like I said, I'd love to play f4, but then knight g4, and I can't reinforce the knight on e3, and I can't block the bishop on bishop's diagonal on d4. I mean on c5 to g1. So with all that in mind, let's see. Probably a simple solution. I just have to come to it. You know, I'm not the world's quickest thinker, but maybe I have to give up that pawn. Let's see. I don't know. Let's see. A3 prepares b4 and tries to drive it away. Then he goes g5. My knight comes back to f3. He takes on e4. Now my queen's loose. He's threatening f3, so queen runs over to e2. I've dropped a pawn. Knight takes, bishop takes. Yeah, well, I've dropped a pawn. I think I have to get rid of that bishop on c5. Okay, so we'll let it go from there. Now knight c5. Okay, as I said, I don't want the bishop on d6. I want control of f5. Now, is there a problem on e4? Well, sometimes the way I solve that is with an f3 move. I could also play knight takes d6 check, queen takes, knight f5, then bishop takes. I'm kind of follow the theme here. I've often used that pawn structure before. Okay, there comes e4. Now the knight's cut off. So I just bring the knight back to e3, and I've got pressure on d5. Okay, now let's see. e6. Rook e1 here. Okay, now bishop g6. Rook e1, reinforce e4. Now, have I looked at this one lately? There's an interesting thing. Out here, that's a move I was stopping. Okay, so now I'll play c3 and get the queen up to c2, stepping out of one pin into another. Okay. Oh yeah, this game. I forgot about this game. Been letting it sit for a while. Actually, there's one other game. I think it was against Jet Fighter. Let me get to that one first. I didn't want to come to that one right away, but I need to address it. Let's see. Anyway, let's see. What are we at here? I was looking at King H1 and Rook E7, and I'm not sure exactly which one I want to do. Let's see, how much time do I have left? 58 minutes. So Rook E7 has the idea of it's trying to set up a mate, but the problem is he gets Bishop F5 in, and that is attacking my queen, although I can check my way out of there with B3, and then B7 is loose, but I've still got to deal with the threat of pawn F3. So that's not going to go away, and I can deal with that by putting my king on H1. And what was I saying? That it gives black potential long-term ideas of rook f8 to f6 to h6, and then put the queen on h2, or attack h2 with his queen and try to mate me. You know, I've won a pawn here at the risk of exposing my king slightly. You know, I opened up the G file, but I was willing to do this. Now, can I attack G5 in any way, shape, or form? If I can get another attacker on G5, then I'm threatening rook takes G5. So another idea is bishop or queen B3 check followed by queen B5. But then he puts his king in the corner, and well, rook G5 would attack his queen. You know, it's tricky. It's like, what am I going to do here? I don't quite know. You know, when you have a whole bunch of games going, trying to sort through these things and remember which one is which, and which valuation you had was the best, it gets a little tricky. And there you have it. So let's see. I've got a pawn ahead. I'm not too worried about the pawn. I'm worried about accidentally getting an attack here. So, you know, with my moves, rook e7, queen b3 check, king h1. Those are my main candidate moves. Let's see, rook e7. bishop f5. Now he's on my queen. Queen b3 check, king h8. Now he's threatening f3. Okay, well, one thing is he's blocked the f-file. I can play queen d5, and or queen takes b7 even, and that'd be fine. I can also play. What about queen b3 check though? That's the move with the idea queen b5, queen b3 check, king h8, queen b5. Now I'm attacking g5. Oh, but I'm not threatening with check. So f3, rook takes g5. I don't know, that's messy. f3, rook takes g5, and he puts his queen where? He can go to e4 and guard it. My bishop's loose, you know, gosh. Yeah, that's very shaky. What about king h1? King h1, f3, bishop f1. That's an idea too. You know, problem is h2 is loose. And it's a long time for him to get there, but it's going to take me a while to defend it. I think rook e7 is the best move. Invite the bishop to come up. Okay. So she castled. Now I want control of f5, so now knight d3, or knight e3. At some point I got to get that cotton picking bishop on c1 developed. Okay, rook e8. Okay, I've used my 10 moves here. Time to kick that bishop out on g4. Okay. There's a rook here on c8. Okay, so what I've done is here I've got black with a weakness on d5. It's a well, how do you characterize that pawn? It's not really hanging pawn. It's not really isolated. It is backward, but it's backward on not on open file. Now to assault it, I've got a knight on e3. I need another knight on f4 to assault it, or transfer my bishop to b3. How does it get there? Bishop f1 to e2 to d1 to b3. Meaning my queen has to get out of there, so that's a long way off. Another thing I can do is pin the knight on or on d7 with bishop h3. Now the question is he threatening queen takes d4 here? Yes, he is. So bishop h3 attacks the knight, makes him guard it. What if I would just break the pin and put my queen on b3? Do I want to do that? Can he get at that queen? Yeah, let's put it there. Let's put it on queen b3. I think that just makes strategic sense. That gives me a new maybe some new maneuvering strategies here. Since he's not getting a knight to c5, I've got that restrained. I think queen b3 just makes positional sense. Okay, so now queen c7. Do I play e5? Knight takes, bishop takes, drops a pawn. Do I play d4 here? That steps into a pin. You know, my e4 pawn would be pinned. He's not really threatening anything. I'll just bring my rook over to d1 and wait. Okay. Now let's see what's happening here. Queen c7. No, c5 he played. Okay, he's trying to get control of d3. Oh no, he played knight e5. He's trying to play knight d3. Okay. All right. Do I let him in? No, I don't let him in. I take his knight. Now he can take back with the pawn and have some center pressure, but that's okay. So I get rid of that guy. Oh yeah, I have to move in this game. My goodness, I'm running out of time here. Well, not really running out of time. I've just got to address all these problems. Let's see, because I have a lot of games going. I have 10 games. I'm not used to playing this many, but 10 is fine. That's 10 fewer people I have to play and 10 happy campers. Okay, so here we've got the opposite side castling. He's trying to start his attack. I'm trying to start mine. Whose will get there first? Who knows? That's what you get when you have opposite side castling. Now here I've chosen to weaken my pawn structure with h4, but I did it to slow his attack down. although technically I didn't really slow it down. When you advance your pawns, as I have done, my h4 pawn, what you do is you bring the attention to your pawns all the quicker. So it's one drawback about advancing your own pawns when your opponent's attacking you. So from that point of view, h4 was a mistake. But at the same time, I was playing it to experiment and to try to get try to see what would take place here in an opposite side castling affair, which we have. So I've got the basic classical system set up, but black is deployed to try to attack my king. And, that's one thing about this opening. Black can play this to where he sets up opposite side castling and attempts to attack the white king, and you have to deal with it. And my experience has been just let the attack come. Okay, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, but let it come. And that's what I've done, and to some degree I've accelerated it a little bit by allowing him to get g5 in a little quicker. But, hey, that's what chess is all about. You got to have a little action here. So the question is, what do I do? Do I play b4 or a4? Or a5. a5 doesn't. It seems kind of slow, but at some point I have to start my attack. So I guess that's what the trickiness is, where the trickiness lies. So I think I just need to play b4. It's got to be played anyway, and I'm using a lot of time, so I'll just go ahead and play it. It's thematic. Okay, knight cd7. Now I have control of d6. I mean of f5. So now I put the knight on f5, and we wait developments. Okay. How long are we into this? The video is now 52 minutes. It took me about 15 minutes of sorting just to get this far. Queen c7, so now knight e3 attacks the bishop. Okay, I hung a piece. Well, okay, so what? I hung a piece. Big deal. I got to be careful. Let's see. These things happen. Let's see. So all this work, I was doing all those things carefully. Queen c1 was taking away h6. All this cleverness, stopping from castling queenside, protecting my pawn on e4. Okay, stepped into a pin, took d4 away, and then comes a threat on d3, and I take, and I forget that I'm not protecting this guy. Okay, so what can I do here? I can take a knight. I take a bishop. He takes my queen. I take a rook. Do I get enough wood here? Well, we'll find out. Okay, let's see. I'm not going to count it right now. Bishop came to c5. Now I've got a pin, so I'll just tuck the king in the corner and deal with that later. Okay, there goes my bishop. Now let's see. Queen came here. Now if his f pawn goes to f, well, let's see. Some potentials of a pin here. Now I don't want to necessarily break c4. I've got a certain positional advantage here. I've got to use this bishop to my advantage. Let's take a diagonal, okay? Now f5 could be possible. Okay, so bishop b6. Okay, so anyway, what do I want to do here? Got to develop this bishop on c1, which she stopped me from doing by putting her pawn on h6 early. So we go back to the old method and see what happens. Okay, now I get a rook. Okay, so what have I got? I got a rook and a bishop for the queen, and that bishop's under attack, and my bishop is probably trapped. Okay, as I was saying about this earlier, this gives me the c4 square. Okay, now he took that pawn. Okay, so what do I have? I have a rook and a knight. I have a rook and a knight for the pawn, or for the queen, and I've got a loose rook. So do I give him the rook? How do I save this knight? Answer is I don't. Just rook b1. Wait, do I want to play rook d1? Rook takes, bishop takes c3. I'm running out of pawns. And we might get a pawn back here. Let's play this. Rook b1. Okay, now this is under attack. b5. He's clearing a b6 square for his critter. Okay, so what's 44 minutes? I'm running out of time here. How did I get so much shortage of time on some of these games? How come I have a lot of time on others and less time on some? Let's see. But b5 now becomes a weakness. I can attack it. What if I play b4, and if he takes, I take, and then I slide the queen over to e2? Let's try it. Worst it happens is I lose something. Let's try it. b4. Okay, now he's, as predicted, he's on that. So now I swing this over, attack that. Now what's happening here? Rook ad8. Okay, so now just rook ad1. Keep the status quo. Okay, so now got to take it. Okay, so I played rook e7. He guarded the mate. Also broke his attack slightly. g7 is a mate with my queen if I can get it there. But queen e4 here. Queen e4, if f3, I play queen e5. I'm threatening mate. And I can move my bishop later, and I've got h2 covered. Okay, a5. 76 minutes left here. Okay, I had to get my bishop developed, so let's do it with tempo. I don't know, it's really with tempo. Rook bishop a3, she'll move the rook anyway. Okay, bishop b2, I'll just play it slow. Okay, b4. Now, can I save that knight on b8? That is the proverbial question. Probably not. Let's see. How about a3? Just to mix things up, although that gets his queenside pawns running a little quicker. Knight e. What do you play? Knight here. Is he attacking d3? No, I have enough coverage. Okay, back. Now let's see. Knight f6. Knight g2 with the idea of knight f4. He's blocking his f-pawn. He might have been trying to advance. I didn't mention that before. Bishop b5, he might play b6, or a6. That weakens b6, but he's got it covered. Oh, what to do here? Let's see. Knight g2, knight f4, move the bishop somewhere, and get a knight to e3. Knight on f4 and a knight e3 pressures d5. You can always kick it out. Let's try it. Look, it certainly looks intriguing. I have weakened f3 a little bit in h3 with my bishop back. Okay, what's happening here? So now I take it, and in essence, let the attack come. So knight takes, rook takes, then knight f3, bishop takes, and if he plays h4, I play g4, and I sneak by. And if he plays knight g6, wow, what's happening here? let's see, G5. What do I do? HG. I think that's the best move. Bishop takes. Now I take his bishop. He takes. Now what do I do? I just start attacking on the king side. Okay, so I mean attacking on the queen side, so we'll just go from there. Okay, bishop a7. Now we bring the rook over. This is all kind of according to the old plan. Okay, now the problem is I'm weakening my my pawn structure here, and although maybe there's a glimmer of hope somewhere if I can get this bishop activated. We'll try it and see. I mean, the alternative is resign, which I'll probably do in a couple of moves. So let's see. What do I want to do here? I basically need some scope for my pieces. So, okay, she took. Now I take back with the knight. Okay, now let's see. H5. Is it planning H4? Planning to anchor a knight on G4? Well, you know, so what? We play F4 here. Knight there. Knight takes, pawn takes. We get opposite colored bishops. H5 I don't really fear. I'm just going to play H4 just for the fun of it. Okay. Okay, King E7 trying to get the knight. So I guess we have to get something for it. Let's take a pawn. Okay, and we'll take stock of it here in a second. Queen C7. Okay, my knight's on C4 is anchored. Got to get this bishop on G2 into play. So, can I play E5? E5, pawn takes, knight takes, knight takes, knight takes. Do I have enough? He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces on E5. I have 3. So I'm not ready for E5. G6 is slightly weak because he's played H6. Let's go ahead with knight H4. See what happens. Okay. And like I say, I got to get this bishop into play. Let's go pin a pawn. See what happens. Okay, now we'll go threaten mate. Okay, took. I take. Okay, let's see. He's trying to get the knight to B5. I don't know. What if I play... Where's that going from B5? Pressuring C3? Is that the idea? Knight B5 to attack C3? Could be the idea. What if I play Queen A4 here? That attacks A5. What am I missing? Pawn takes, bishop takes. I'm missing that. Okay, Queen A4 doesn't work because pawn takes. I don't know. Let's see. I need to take a walk here, but I don't really have time. Stretch my legs, get the blood circulating. I do take little breaks here. I have to. Let's see. I don't know. I can play f4, and the idea is that on knight b5 I can play e5. Pawn takes, knight takes. Yeah, and I shut down the pressure. Okay, f4. Let's try it and see what happens. Okay, b5. Now, usually when I go through this maneuver, bishop b2, which is to develop the queen rook, and I've done that. And now the objective is get this bishop back into play. So I'll go there. Now what's he doing? He took. Now, do I have any? h4 is coming. Like I say, we let the attack come. Got to break open the queen side. c4 is the move. Okay. Now he's over on c6. Is he threatening anything I should worry about? Let's just go pressure that pawn. Knight f4. And that clears h3 for one of my minor pieces. Okay, I could have played bishop b5 there. I didn't see it right away. Okay, rook to the 7th. Well, that certainly looks good. Let's see. I'd love to be able to get some kind of a pin. Rook takes, pawn takes, and be able to pin the bishop, but then he's getting these powerful pawns. I'm just going to resign this and save the trouble. There's no hope here. Okay, give that one up. Move on. Okay, I'll come back and talk about it in a little bit. I'm not sure where I'm at, where my moves are. Okay, so he put the knight there. What's he doing? He's occupying a square. He's after my pawn on a3. Well, fine. Where do I want to put the rook? How about if I double? That threatens a rook. Yeah, I double. Then if rook takes, queen takes, knight takes a3, queen d8 check, and he gets a checkmated. So maybe this saves my pawn. We'll find out. Okay, now I got to take here. See, I got to open up the position on the queen side since my attack was slow. He did play knight b5, and what was I planning to do? Shut it down with e5, right? Isn't that what I was trying to do? He can take on g2. He can push d5, but we'll find out when we get there. I've shut down his little dilly there. Now let's see. I don't want to push f4. It weakens g3. Do I want to push Do I push d4 and e5? That certainly looks interesting. Literally lock the game up. Maybe that's what I need. Maybe I need a locked up game just to relieve some of the pressure. Okay, he took with the bishop. Now, do I take with the knight or do I take with the queen? If I take with the queen, c3 hangs. If I take with the king, I could run into a check, but that's not a problem. Where does the knight go next from g2? To e3 and d5. From h4, it's going to go to f3, and I'm not sure where. So here we take with the knight. Now, if he pushes d5, then he has no more pressure on e5, so I take with the knight here. Okay, sort these out. Now he puts his queen there. Now I think he's in trouble. I think bishop d5 check, wins some material. Okay, or is that a legal move? Oh, it wouldn't let me make an illegal move. Okay, now we push. Now he gets a stock c5 break at some point, but I can maybe prevent that. But like I say, I need a locked up game. Now I take with the queen, and I'm threatening a little mate down here. And maybe have time to save my pawn. Okay, queen takes. Okay, what are you going to do there? Now queen takes. Okay, now don't tell me it's everybody's move. g5. Okay, so let's see. He's attacking a knight, but I could gambit the knight. I can get a counterattack here with queen d7, pawn takes, Queen takes c7. I'm on a bishop. Not quite sure on this one. How much time do I have left? 32 minutes. Oh my goodness. Okay, what do I have here? 72 minutes. It's his move. See, he's using a lot of time. I think I have plenty of time. Okay, I resigned this game. I'll come back to that one. What's happening here? Oh, it's his move. Good. Okay. So let's see. I just got to take a walk. I'll be back soon. As soon as I can sort things out with my feet. Somebody resigned? Maybe that was Jet Fighter. I think I had that killer check coming in. Yep, Bishop D5 check, and he gave up. Okay, so that game is over. So I got 8 games left. Still a lot of games. Okay. I need to take a walk and get the blood circulating. I've won one and lost one. I still have 8 tough games going. I have no idea what's happening. I'm probably going to lose 3 or 4 of them. But I'm having fun. I hope you are too if you're playing and watching. Thanks. Okay, I'm just getting back, and what's happening here? I have 29 minutes to find a move. My knight moves. I lose the pawn on e4 with tempo. But my queen can go to d7 of all places. And, I can play queen d7, pawn takes, queen takes b7, bishop takes e4. I've given up. I don't really want to give up a piece. I've got control of the d file. And I've got an e5 square for my knight. If he takes the pawn on a3 with this knight, I don't care. If he takes the pawn on e4, my queen penetrates. I've got control of the d file. I just need to play knight f3. It's probably wrong to give up a piece. Okay, so I can kind of use some intuition on some of these. Now I have the d6 square if I want it with a knight. Do I really want it there? Probably not. Next step, activate this bishop on g2. Let's see. I can set up a sacrifice. Queen d2 threatens knight takes, pawn takes, queen takes. And I got the king exposed, but the knight on f6 is guarded. Maybe that's why she's played king h7. How about if I just put the queen on d2 and then penetrate to d6? Let her think about the sack. Okay, what's happened here? Rook d8. We have a very even game. How about if I attack the pawn for the fun of it? Is that worth anything? And if queen takes rook a1, he comes down and takes my pawn. That's no good. Excuse me, hiccups. Okay. I like the idea of getting the queen off this b1 h7 diagonal. What if I just do a subtle maneuver like queen c1? It's an even game. We'll just play from there. Okay, a6, keeping me out of b5. Now, but you know, I wasn't sure if I wanted to go there. I've got a little pressure on d5, but he's got thrice protected. I can put the bishop on h3 and knight f1 and knight e3. Let's see how that works. Okay. Okay, now I was saying that black has a c5 break. Let's take it away. Okay. And let's see. f6 shuts in the bishop. Is he threatening my pawn? That is the question. Pawn takes, pawn takes, pawn takes. He's got a really bad double pawn. Knight e3, pawn takes, pawn takes. I'm going to get the knight into d5. Knight e3 looks right from a positional point of view. And it's great if I can give him double d pawns and blockade with a knight on e4. I mean, queen a4 is there. It threatens a pawn, but he's going to trade queens and win it back. I can give up a pawn. I can give up a pawn just to give him double pawns, so I'll do that. Okay, now queen e4. Okay, so queen takes, bishop takes, rook to the 7th rank. Attacks a pawn. Let's see. Queen nothing and queen d8 check. Okay, queen takes. We'll try to survive this. Okay, now she's covering h6. Smart girl. Okay, so what was I saying? Oh, Carly, look, there's a free knight. Okay, did I miss something? Okay, there comes h4. Well, like I say, we let these things happen. Let's see. So what's going on here? He's going to take. How about if I attack his rook on h8? In light of anything else to do, puts my queen on a new diagonal. Let's try it. Okay. Now e5, he took. Now I take. Okay. Now he took there. Now rook d7 for what it's worth. Okay. We go from there. Rook d7. I have 25 minutes left. Look at this. He's taking. I'm paying attention to the time here. Oh, I've got a problem here. Let's see. The problem is my back rank. Shouldn't be a problem unless I let it be a problem. Let's see. If pawn takes, rook check, and if I play bishop f1, I drop my knight on f3. So, heck. Okay, let's see. I have to give up a pawn, but I have an active rook on the 7th rank. And see, pawn takes, rook takes a3. My pawn on b4 is weak, but I got to cover my back rank. If I don't take it, he's just getting another passed pawn. So I think my move is forced here. I have to take with the C pawn, because pawn takes, rook check is deadly. Yeah, I got to take with the C pawn and let the chips fall the way they may. But watching the time here, see, I've won a piece here. She's taking her time, but I guess she's a little distracted by her children. Okay, B5, he's taking control of C4. Well, we'll let him have it. You know, he's got a bad bishop. I've got a pin on a knight on D7. We're going to maneuver the knight here. We're playing a maneuvering game. Now, okay, good. He's taken away his C5 break. Okay, so now we reach a maneuvering game where the pawn structure is locked up, and it's going to stay locked up until something happens. Now, can he break with F6 at any point, way, shape, or form? Okay, how about if I assault H5? Bishop F3 attacks that pawn because it's not guarded. The pawn on G6 is pinned. Okay, king out. Let's see. Where do I want the knight to go? I can go with check. On E7 or H4. H4 doesn't really have a place. She's not threatening anything. She's not threatening anything. Let's just double the rooks. Okay. Now E6 didn't bite by taking the pawn. Planning D5. Very clever. Okay, so let's see. I can play D4, and I'm attacking G6. Got to watch out. The knight can get to D4 and be on F3 in a moment's notice. Let's see. Not too sure here. What do I have left? 34 minutes. Okay, just looking at some of the times my opponents are playing. You have basically 2 hours for the game. 90 moves plus a 30-second increment. If you go 40 moves, that's an hour and 10 minutes. I'm sorry, not an hour and 10 minutes. 1 hour and 50 minutes, and then you still have a 30-second increment every move. And you know, you essentially spent 10 minutes on your clock. You've been gifted 20 minutes back. You've only taken a half an hour on 22 moves. That's too fast. Okay, you have me at an extreme disadvantage simply because I have a handicap. I playing 90-30 divided by 10, and I basically have a 9-minute game with a 33-second increment. Okay, and I'm stopping to comment. My time is going. If you're moving, you're not doing yourself any favors. Okay, what if I take the pawn? Pawn takes, queen takes. I'm sorry, pawn takes, knight takes. Knight takes, queen takes. Now knight to C4 again. I've taken the pressure off C3. Okay, I'm going to do that. Okay. Now, where did she played the bishop there. Okay. Let's see. Maybe just time to offer a trade. Bishop E3. Okay. Now, guarded the pawn. Okay. Now, can I take it, or do I prepare another sacrifice? Knight G2, knight F4. Let's try that. Then get the queen to D2 to stop the bishop from coming to H6. Okay, so now I've attacked the rook, and black has come back and defended it. I guess the only thing I can do is keep attacking on the queen side, huh? I've got G3 covered. Forgot to mention that. Let's just open up the queen side here and hope for the best. Okay, so now knight takes, and I get a nice outpost. Okay, rook takes. Now I've got a threat to deal with. Two threats to deal with. My knight is loose, and there's a threat on E1. So what if I go knight E1, rook A1? What do I have? 20 minutes? Here, yeah. Here's taking not enough time. you know. Okay, so I'm not. What am I down? 2 pawns? How'd I get down 2 pawns? Well, mercy. I remember losing this pawn, but I don't remember losing the other one. Okay, my knight on f3 is under attack. What? My scheduled scan is about to start. Get out of here. I don't want to scan. McAfee, go away. Okay. That was a pop-up. Let's see. I mean, I can handle that being down 1 pawn, but 2 pawns? Yeah. So what do I put my knight? d4? No. Rook a1 check. Knight e1, rook a1. Now my knight's loose. If I play king f1, bishop takes g2 check, deflects, and I lose a piece. Is this one lost? It's starting to look like it. Let's see. I can spite check. No, that's not going to go anywhere. How about knight d2? And maybe that's the only move. Knight d2. Yeah, let's try that. It's probably lost. Let's see. Okay, now, do I want to eliminate this knight on d7? Well, where's it going to move? It's not. Let's bring the knight up to e3 and go from there. Okay. What, everybody's move everywhere? Is this game still going? No, it's still, her clock is ticking, or did she resign? I don't see her resign. Darn, okay. Well, the clock's not ticking, she must have given up. Okay, there's just talking about stopping that. A bishop h6. But, you know, there's other sacrifices I might be able to do here. Let's put the king on h7, or h2. I think, hopefully it went there. Okay. Okay, Jet Fighter, let's run through some of these games so I can close some windows. Okay. Want to make a little comment about some of these games while it's on the video. Okay. He plays like a Leningrad Dutch system. I just follow the system myself, and here I elected to take because I have some activity opening up the E file. You know, the plan is you meet a wing attack with center play, and black drops a pawn here. I get a discovery on the queen, and I've picked up a pawn. And the mouse is moving very quickly, 2 moves at a time, because this interface isn't any good. Well, it's okay, but it's not as... There's a lot of problems with this interface. RHS.com, but you got to improve it. Especially when you're analyzing a game. You break away from the main line, and you get all in the PGN window. You have all the different variations you've analyzed, and good luck trying to find when you try to go back to the main line, because when you go back to where you were, it automatically plays one of the sidelines, and good luck finding it. So it's very frustrating. Okay, so now black had some pressure there, but I threatened mate. He guards it, takes the queen out of play, and now a check, and black must give up some material. Rook e7 is met by bishop takes, and this game is over. So let's see, he left. I can close. Let me make sure I'm closing the right one. Okay, close this window down, and I think it's my move somewhere. Okay, knight b6. He wants to get to c4. Okay, well, you can have c4. Okay. How about queen d1? The idea is to play knight h5. Yeah. And if knight c4, I can take, I don't know, it's queen b4, have some dark square pressure here. Okay, I've got 3 attackers on d5. He has 5 defenders, 2 knights, a bishop, a queen, and a rook. So I'm not going to win that pawn on d5. So I have to make a weakness in the ending. You know, if he gets a knight to c4, if he takes with the d pawn, he opens up the d5 square. He weakens e4 slightly. Good, he's taking his time, 35 minutes and counting. Some of these people aren't taking their time. Okay, let's see. I have knight f5 open for what it's worth. Knight f5 threatens a fork. It's a one-move threat. I'm usually against making one-move threats unless I can get somewhere with it. Does it threaten anything he should worry about besides that check? You play rook f8. Now I can play queen h4 with the idea of queen out. And maybe I can get some kind of a kingside attack going. Okay, let's just try it and see what happens. Okay. Now knight b6. He wants to occupy c4 with his knight. Okay, where's it going from c4? The answer is it isn't. Not too worried about it. So now I switch the queen over to e2 with potential sacrifices on h5. Okay, I think this game ended. Let's see. Let's go back. Well, oh, my clock's running. No, okay, my clock's running. So she didn't resign. Here I was thinking she resigned. Let's take the bishop. Okay, free bishop. You get 2 pieces for the rook. Okay, that was coming. Now, do I want to take with the queen? Probably not. Let's see. If I take with the queen, I put my queen in a little vulnerable spot. So I've got to take with the pawn and wait developments. There's a queen check. Oh, a queen check on b6. But I should be okay from that, I think. Now I got 2 pieces for the rook. I have 3 minor pieces for a rook. Okay. Alright, queen went to d6. And now, like I say, I continue with knight c4. And I've got that square for my knight. Okay, guarded that. Now, queen d1 with the idea of knight h5. See if that goes anywhere. Okay, on my bishop. Let's save it. Let's put it on c5. Okay, what's happening here? And I went to attacking e4. Is that a problem? Well, it's attacking d3. This allows, bishop g1 allows pawn takes. I can always take with the knight. And I'm covering d3. Okay, we'll go this way and see what happens. Okay, there's a pawn push. I'll just keep the lines closed. c4. Okay, queen went to d7. Okay, now, what have I accomplished here? I've got some pressure on c3. Black has a weak e-pawn. What if I put my knight on e5? Knight e5, if bishop takes, rook takes, and I'm attacking a c5 pawn. Let's go this way. Knight e5. Let's see what happens. Attack the queen. Okay. Now a4. Okay, fine. Let's see. Let's go pressure your king. Okay. Okay, he took that. I'm down to 10 minutes. My move is more or less forced. Okay. Okay, so now she took there. I take here. Got to take here. Okay, so now he plays that way. Okay, so now I'm down 2 pawns. Check, and rook b8, for c6, rook b6. Let's see, rook c7, the rook check. Okay, he's going to play blitz chess. He's asking for it. He's going to make a blunder. Uh-oh, there's a check. Got to watch out. Okay, I should be okay from that. Let's see. Now rook b5, rook b8. Okay. Now c6, and I play rook b6. Okay. 12 minutes left. Okay. Now we got indirect pressure on let's just go take a pawn. I think I can afford to. Okay. Now I can get my king out. Okay. Now I get a pawn with check. Okay. Now comes f5. And like I say, I start getting the king out. Wow, he's playing quick. King d3. I mean, you got a nice position, but you're not taking your time. This is going to blow up and bite you. Hey, there's a free pawn. I'd like to coordinate a mate. Let's take it. Okay. g4. Restraining my pawns. Okay, now technically I've run out of moves. Where can his king penetrate to? d5. My king's about as far as I can put it. There's nothing I can do about... well, his king gets to d5, he's ready to take on b4, so I'm going to have to start eating some pawns on the king side and running my pawns. Check. King f6, rook here to h7. He plays rook takes, and I start getting counterplay. Yeah, I got to do it. Okay. Now queen e7. Now I have a sacrifice, but I'm not ready to do the sacrifice. Do I want to try to get a knight to c5? Got to get there by way to d3. Let's put a rook on the g file. Let's just prepare for that. Okay, now here comes the threat. The threat is to double rooks on the back rank and checkmate me. Is that something I need to worry about? Possibly. What if I just put my rook on the back rank and be done with it? Even if I have to give up a piece, let's cut off the opponent counterplay. Okay. So queen d5. Now he's on my knight. I can take the pawn on g6. Do I want to? Oh, what do I have left? 23 minutes. I'm running out of time. Where's my Coke? I had a full Coke here a while ago. Did I spill it? Looks like I spilled it. And I still have my coffee. I have coffee here. Okay, do I want to take the pawn on g6? Then the knight's threatening to go to f4. Knight takes g6, rook f6, knight f4 attacks his queen. I got to do it. Knight takes. We'll see what happens. Okay. Now, what have I got left here? He's doubling rooks on the d file. Okay, now, do I want to chase his knight out of there? Yeah, I do. Weaken c3, knight b4, knight a6. Weakens Zwischenzug with pawn takes, and knight d3. I take, he takes. Yeah, let's try. I think I'm okay here. Okay, there's the knight on c4 like I expected. Now knight h4 or h5. Wait, I got a problem here. b2 is loose. Do I care about that pawn? Well, there's no point in giving him a pawn and potential pressure. I can just stop and safeguard the pawn and continue later. Okay, rook to the 7th. I've got the hatches battened down. I have a piece to spare. She has one pass pawn. I'm just going to sacrifice my knight for that pass pawn, and I should be fine. Okay, f6. What have I got left here? Oh, I have an hour, almost an hour. Well, I got to break them open, you know. It's the only hope here. Okay, when is it taking? Here we go. Okay. Now c6. Is that? No, queen f8. Okay. Okay, if I get a knight to c5, where's it going next? Ideally, I'd like to get it to f4 when I can take back with a queen and not get double pawns. So let's just try to maneuver a little bit. We can play a maneuvering game here for a while. Okay, now knight f4 attacks the queen and attacks the pawn on e6. So we'll see what happens there. Okay, now attacking that pawn, so I just push it. He sacrificed the exchange. Can he do that? Maybe. We'll find out. I guess it's forced. Okay, now I go molest the h-pawn. Okay, down to 9 minutes. Okay, so now I just start advancing my pawns. Okay, now I come back to c7. Okay, now I save my bishop. Let's see, do I want on f3? f3 can't attack it. Yeah, put it on f3. Oh, he won that pawn. Well, you're a little rascal. Take that as a compliment. Okay. He's trying to take on b3 and he's trying to take on b3 and penetrate to the last rank, or the 7th rank. So, what have I got left? 21 minutes. He's moving too quick also. Let's see. Rook a1, queen d5. Rook takes a5. Yeah. And maybe I can get something going. Rook a1. We'll see what happens. Okay, knight went there. Somehow I missed that move. What did it take something? I was saying I had to go to a6. Okay, now is he pressuring c3? Yes, he is. Okay, so do I play d4 here? Maybe? d4. Yeah, d4, that's the ticket. Okay. A little awkward with what I normally do. Now let's see. Now I have 64 minutes here. Now I bring the knight to d3. Okay. And again, we're going maneuvering. Okay, what's happening here? Is it my move or her move? It's my move. Okay. Attacking my bishop. You little minx. Okay, let's see. I'll just put it on... I'm going to put it back on g2. And I'll move it back to f1. When you attack it again, let's see. Okay, so I'll put it there. Now... I've taken and he's taken. We both have an attack. His is maybe a little more accelerated than mine. Let's see. Yeah. I don't know. What do I have? 50 minutes left. I have plenty of time. C5, knight e4, active move, threatens the pawn on f6, defends g3. C5 gives him the d5 square. I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know. I like knight e4. Got to get that knight in play. Knight e4, f5, knight f6, knight takes g3. That's kind of nuisance. Let's see. Knight e4. What if he hits it? Where would I put the knight f6? Doesn't that hang g3? Queen takes g3. Oh, but then I get c6 with check. That's a very active bishop. Also, his king's more exposed than mine. Yeah, I got to get the pieces active. We'll see what happens with that. Okay, so he anchored his knight into c3. Now I'm going to give him a diagonal h7 to b1. I'm going to push my pawn, and or do I want the file open? And I probably don't want the file open. I'll just play a lock game and catch up. Okay, now he's on that knight, so now we play knight h5 and hope for the best. Okay, so let's see. Did he move here? Yeah, he put the bishop on e7. Okay, I've got the file open. I'm not the file open. I got the c5 square. He's got the c4 square. I'm not so worried about that. Knight b3. Okay, now what's happening here? Knight d7. He's stopping me from going to c5. Okay, that's fine. Now I'm going to read. Do I want to sacrifice this thing? Bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes. I get two pawns for the piece. Let's double rooks first. Okay. h5. Now I play e5. Now I've got a threat. Watch out. Okay. Queen d5. Now I take. Okay, now he's come to h4. I put the rook on the back rank. Okay. Let's see. King went to h8. Now I need some open lines. Let's see. c4 gives him a d4 square. That could be very annoying. How about if I attack a pawn? Double my pile up on. Okay, rook a6, rook f8, rook takes a4. I think I can handle that. Okay, now there's a pin. Okay. Break the pin. Where do I want the bishop? e2. Yeah, let's put it on e2 and break the pin. Okay. Now he's threatening an annoying discovered check, or double check. So I have 17 minutes left, and I have to figure something out. Let's see. Double check threat is bishop here. Ouch. Okay, so what do I do with my king? Let's see. Yeah, come back on this one. I have 16 minutes. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, that game ended. I haven't had a chance to go over it yet. It's his move here. What time does he have? I have 38 minutes. Let's see which game was I'm trying to sort out. Oh yeah, that one where he's threatening a double check. Okay. Don't know exactly here. Let's see. My king can't go to h1. It can go to f2. Go to f1. f1 it can get check. Queen f3. I can play queen f2. Might have to play king f1 here. Let's see. King f1. That bishop d4 double check just looks so deadly. And I have 15 minutes. I think I have 8 games going. I think I've had 2 games end. But fortunately, a lot of my opponents are taking time and not putting the heat on me. Let's see. I think king f1 is forced. I don't mind queen f3 check so much. So let's see. What do I play here? King f1, I think. I could be wrong, but what else do I play? c4 is just horrible. Bishop d4 check is a killer. Yeah, I gotta play king f1. It's the only move. Okay, king f1. Okay, he took that knight, and I take his bishop. Okay, he's got rid of his bad bishop, but he's got some pawn structure problems. Okay, now I can sack on h5 still. But what I was saying is let's double the pawn. Let's double the rooks first. Okay, we'll see what happens. Okay, he took. And now he took that. Oh, I'm going to get forked. Or am I? Okay, bishop h3. What's happening here? Well, I've got g3 covered. I heard a click. Did I win a game? Nope. What, you say he may have violated the fair play policy? What happened here? He disconnected. Okay, well, we'll play him again another time. I don't think he violated fair play. Got to make sure I don't lose a game accidentally on time to some of these speed demons. Well, you know what? I'm going to go attack your pawn again. Oh, I'm out of time. Shoot. Well, I forgot about my time here. Okay, now I play... Okay, let's see. What do? I play g4 or g5. Queen g4, he plays h4. He puts... No, I play queen g5 here. Queen g5. If he plays h6... Where did I put the queen? Let's see. I'm not sure where the queen came from. I'll just set it there so it goes back. Okay. Queen g5. f6. Queen g4. Yeah, we're going to lure him in. Now, I could play h6, but I still come back. Yeah, queen g5, I think, is the move. Okay, we'll play that. Okay, now how much time do I have here? 69 minutes. What was his last move? Knight b6. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and put the knight on c5 and work from there. Okay, there's bishop h3. What was he doing? What's he trying to do here? If knight takes, queen takes, bishop takes, king takes, ouch, this falls. How much time do I have left? 44 minutes. Okay, nobody knows lost on time. Let's close some of these things down. I'll give him a rematch. He just disconnected, couldn't come back. You know, we're following through the standard opening, and not much is really going on. He's got an even game when it ends. Sorry, we can play again. Let me close this down. You know, there's really not much comment on this game. Okay, now let's see. Cheeky, what's happening here? You're on my critter, so I'm just going to check you and win one of your rooks. Okay. Now you took. Now which way to take back? I'll take back with the B pawn. Okay. And now you're not threatening to take my bishop, so I'll save it. Where do I want to save it to? H3 or G4? Let's save it on G4. That way if you play H5, I can steal a pawn. Okay. Bingo. Okay. Now the knight went into C4. Is it threatening anything I should worry about? The answer is no, it isn't. So I'm going to play bishop E2 and consider taking it off at the appropriate time that I determine. Okay, now. Played a waiting move. Rook back to A8. Now, do I want to take down here? I don't know. What if I play G4? G4, pawn takes. How about if I mask things and play Queen C2 here? I'm just maneuvering here. Queen C2. I'm going to try to play for some kind of a discovery of some kind. Okay, now, what's happening here? Good question. Got a couple other games I was worried about, too. What's this game here? Okay, there's a check. I got to get out of check, right? Do I have enough time here? Oh, I only have 9 minutes. Okay. Yeah, I was worried about this game. I got to watch the time. So King E2 is forced. I have to get out of danger. Okay, now he's... Whoops, he's attacking me. How dare he? Okay, no, if you can attack me, that's good. Okay, I got to cover A2. So knight can go to A3. Can I go anywhere else? No, I'll just put it on queen on C2. Okay, go from there. Okay, I've got plenty of time here. I'll come back to that. I want to make sure I don't run into some trouble somewhere. Okay, queen H2 check. I think I have to go to D1, right? My king has to run. Run for the hills. Right? Okay, so running for the hills here. I'll come back to this one. I got to make sure. Okay, my move somewhere. I heard a click. I got time on some of these. Queen takes F4. Okay, what's happened? He has sacrificed a rook for a knight and has a pawn for it. And I've got doubled rooks. I mean, I can double my rooks. I need to take that pawn on E6, I believe. So rook takes. I've got some pressure. Okay, rook takes. I got to figure this one out still too. Okay, that's my move somewhere. Who's moving? He's moving there. He's taking a pawn, so I need to take this pawn. Now I got to make sure his rook doesn't go to A8 and bother me. Well, I can fork his rooks. Okay, so I take. Okay, so I think I'm okay here. So I've got up the exchange. He's got 2 pawns. Now where do I put my queen? She's got to go all the way back to c1. But that's fine. Okay, queen back to c1. There's knight bothering my queen. Queen b3. And I can put a rook on d3 maybe. And if he pushes b4, I'll be attacking it. So, on a3. I gotta still worry about this one. I'll catch up to that one here. Let's see what's happening here. Queen g4 check. I'm gonna run my king for the hills. Okay, so now I got plenty of time there. I'm trying to close out the games I won and lost here. I gave this one up. Did I review this? Yeah, I was doing all these. I kind of talked about I was doing all these clever maneuvering. See, I never got my c3 in, and the queen to c2. So I'm trying to take away his kingside privileges, and I just step into some pins. I was taking h6. He got there anyways. Now I finally get it in there, and whoops, I forgot d2 was hanging, and the most I can get for the queen is what I did, and game over. Good game, pimp slap. You slapped me around. All right, so game's over. There's no point in playing this out, wasting my time. Okay, let me close that one and see where else we're at. Okay, rook. Okay, queen b3. I want to talk about this game more, but I'll come back. I got to make sure I don't run out of time. Okay, let's see. He put his rook on e7. Okay, so I've got the long-range prospects of bishop versus knight. His knight's on a good square now. I control the dark squares. Maybe I can end up opening up the h-file later. And to do that, I got to shove a pawn, bring my king up to g2, and transfer my rooks to the h-file. So let's try that and see what happens. Okay, rook b2. Now I'm going to... Do I want to play queen b4? Queen takes, pawn takes. Gets his knight to c4, and I can't really get rid of it. Let's see. He's trying to play b5. If I play rook d3, knight c4, I can't take it on c4. And then he's still ready for b5. So I'm going to play queen b5 here and hope for the best. I'm getting all these pawns on dark squares. It can't be that bad. Okay, queen b4. Let's put the question to his critters. Okay, a6. He's spending a tempo move. Now if I move my knight, where do I want to put my knight? Is there an a5? Let's try for a5. The pressure's c6. I don't want to play knight c5. Don't want to trade knights. But I'm going to play this. This threatens to play bishop takes h5. I'm going to try to put my knight on c5 and see what happens. Okay, now I've stopped him a little bit here. Now I've got to chase that knight. Can I chase that knight? Okay, rook d2. Rook b2. And if knight c4, he's not really threatening anything except for my rook. And my rook can then go to c2, and he goes back to, I don't know. What's time do I have? I have an hour here. Let me look at these other games where I don't have time. Where's that game where I'm down up the exchange? Is he taking his time, or is it my turn? No, it's my turn. I'm in check again. Well, these things happen. Okay, how do we want to get out of check? I've got 9 minutes left. I suppose I just offer him a queen trade. I'll have a favorable endgame. Okay, queen a6. What do I want to do here? Rook d2, knight c4. I can always take it. No, I don't want to take it. He gets the b file. Okay, rook d2, knight c4, rook c2, knight c4, rook b2. rook d3, back to that idea again. Knight d3, knight c4. Well, I think I have to play rook d2 here. I think I'm okay here. All right. Okay, queen d6. Is he threatening any tricks on g3? Maybe. So let's bring the king up to guard g3. Okay, now he doubled rooks. He didn't play knight c4. Okay, so now I have time to defend my a pawn. Okay. What did he take? Oh, he took my knight. Oh, even he could take my knight. Dang it. I missed that. Okay, which way to take? Queen or knight? I mean, queen or rook? Take with the rook. Okay, now, that my game move here too. Let's see. He played his queen to h4. And now I got to liquidate. Rook e8 looks to make sense. Let's see, rook e8. I'm going to trade off a set of rooks. Let's stop his attack before it gets here. And we just have to trade him down. Okay, my move here, I'm down to 33 minutes. I still have time to think about, trying to catch up on the other games here and use my time to the best of my ability. Let's see. Crazy position. These opposite side castling things. I haven't really taken any time on this one yet, but I'm going to try now. So, I mean, g3 is weak. He's on it, but I've got the knight on e4 covering it. I can always protect my my bishop with a move like rook a2 or even rook f2. One of those choices exists to help protect g2, which if there's an exchange, my rook would take its place and cover g2. The f5 was still a concern. I've got his king a little more exposed now for what it's worth, and that's going to happen. With these double-sided double wing attacks or opposite side castling pawn storms. I've got a nice centralized knight on e4. I don't want to take on h3 and bring his rook down. That just doesn't seem to make sense. Let's see. I have 31 minutes left. That should be enough to figure this one out. Okay, let's see. So, c5 threatens a knight check, and that'll close off his queen from the attack on g3. That makes sense, because I'm not sure about f5. Yeah, I'm just going to play it and catch up on the other ones. Okay, so now he's on the knight. I mean, he's on the rook, but I don't care about that. I'm going to put the rook on... I can't put it on b2. I lose it. Duh. Okay, I can put it on c2, and he tacks on a3, and I go to b2. He comes back to c4, and I put it on b3. Yes, whoop, not on b2, c2. Oh, wait. What am I missing? Let's put it on c2 and see what happens. Okay. He's attacking my bishop. Okay, that weakens g3, or g6. Okay, now, where do I want the bishop? On h3, how about if I just go pester that knight and make him decide where he wants to put it. Okay, so let's see. He played his knight to b6. Don't I win a pawn, or am I missing something? I think I steal a pawn. Bishop takes. He forgot about it. He had it covered earlier, but I stole a pawn. Okay, so h5, rook takes check. I've got 5 minutes left. What's he attacking? Anything? Let's threaten to start giving checks. Wait, queen d2. Queen e3 allows bishop takes c3. That could be a nuisance. How about if I just make a pass pawn on my own? Oh wait, no, d4, he takes, and takes. And I can call it a draw. Probably. I have a check. Is that worth anything? What's he threatening? c2, queen a2 check. King h7. Put the queen on g7. Yeah, let's give the check. I think. Oh, gotta watch out. My rook is hanging. So the queen. Oops, I just played. See, I set it down the wrong place. Mouse slip. Oh well. Hey, no big deal. I don't care. See, we pick up a piece, you forget where you put it. The thing is to drop it on a square where you know it can't be. I just set it on the wrong spot. But, you know, bishop takes kind of maybe has some threats here. Maybe I can generate something with rook g1 check. And maybe it's not my move anywhere. Maybe I've got, okay, that game's over. I'm not sure where I lost the first pawn on this one. I remember noticing I thought I was going to lose a pawn, and then somehow I didn't lose it. And I was talking about it. I think I'm going to lose a pawn because when I played a3, I got the feeling I was going to lose a pawn. Whoop, my move. Okay, so now what's he threatening? Is he threatening to take my bishop? No, he's not, because it's pinned. So let's redeploy the bishop to d3. That way we have some pressure on the long diagonal. I'm not planning to take his knight. Okay, now what did he do? He doubled rooks. He's trying to push e3. Well, we can't have that. I'll just take it. Phooey. Okay. So, oh wait, he took that way. Okay, now is he threatening e3? e3, rook takes, pawn takes. Let's just stop that move in its tracks. And yeah, queen e3. We'll play it positionally here. You know, I'm happy to take even games and then figure them out. You know, sometimes you miss the best plan, but I'm happy to continue with an even game and work with what I have, because the whole objective is give you guys a chance to play a strong player and feel the tension of what one of these games goes like. Okay, is it my move here? No, it's his move. Okay, he's a good player. Matter of fact, I give this guy lessons. I'm glad he got to play. Okay, he's trying to break with f4. So, we let him. I'm going to try to get an outside pass pawn and invite you to open up the game for my rooks. Okay, b4. It just seems like a fun thing to do. It gives me a weakness on c3, but oh well. Okay, now he's putting his queen there. Is he attacking my queen? No, I take back with the pawn. What if I take his knight now? That's removing the defender. Bishop takes c4. He has to stop and take my queen. Otherwise his queen drops. Bishop takes c4. Queen takes ab. He's going to get a pass pawn. Okay, I got to make sure I don't lose. That one game is scaring me. The guy's moving quick and I'm running out of time. Oh, he hasn't moved yet. That's where I had a mouse slip. Now he's trying to calculate what I've worked out. Oh, I hadn't worked out anything. I just know that your king is exposed now, and and maybe I can generate something if you take that. I want to get up and take a walk, but as long as I'm in time pressure in at least one game, I don't want to. Okay, I've got him thinking about it because I'm threatening this knight check. An interesting thing about the knight check, it starts making his king vulnerable. King goes to d8, I get a fork on f7. Why didn't I see this earlier? King goes to b8, I get a check on the b file. All kinds of possibilities there. Okay, let's back to this game that I lost. Whoops, somebody moved. Who moved? Okay, I have 62 minutes there. He's running out of time. I got plenty of time. I'll catch up on that one. Somebody moved. Who moved? Who moved? I heard a click. I don't know who moved. What happened to Carly's game? Did she give that up, or is it still going, or did I accidentally lose on time? No, I won. Okay, she resigned. Okay. Thanks for the whooping, she says. Well, Carly, you're a decent player. Your kids just distract you. Okay, so she essentially, she played a good game. She stopped the system. She stopped the bishop from coming to g5, and I had to go back to my old system, which is okay. You know, just I did what I did normally. I can't play bishop g5. The bishop just goes to b3 or b2, and I activate the queen rook and bring the bishop back. And unfortunately, and I got control of f5. Unfortunately, what went wrong for her was she unprotected d7. Now, game over. So he's just losing material. So that was a good game. Let's close that one down. Actually, I'll keep it open. No, I'll close it. There's no need for it. Okay. Now, somebody just moved. I heard a click. How can I have won this game? It says Rats versus E2, E4. Oh, okay, the 1-0 is in his name. Okay. And I see a 1-0 up at the top. I'm thinking I won, but it's my move. I have 56 minutes. Okay, he's allowed me the chance to get an outside pass pawn. If I play queen f4, I can accept some double pawns. Queen takes, pawn takes. Queen f4. He's trying to play f5 or f4. I'm not going to let him. I can take the double pawns here and be fine. Okay, now back to that game. Okay, let's see. Mini job, I didn't finish that one. Okay, so let's get some commentary here. So b5. Now, I'm still not down a pawn. Where did my pawn go? Okay, he took that. I remember that going. Now, I remember that. And I put the rook here. And where did I lose the second pawn? Okay, now I've got a back rank mate threat. And I thought about giving up the piece. I know I lost one pawn. Oh, okay, there's the first pawn. Okay, now I take. And now I put my rook on d7, which turned out to be a mistake because my back rank got vulnerable. So what else did I have? That's my move somewhere. I guess I'm going to, rook a1 looks horrible. I'm going to lose that pawn. I'm losing a second pawn. Okay. And then I think he was misplaying the ending. I've got a certain amount of nuisance value here, but unfortunately I just lost on time. He can win the pawn on b4, but I'm going to try to get some nuisance value going on the king side. And while he's busy trying to queen his pawns, I'm going to get some counterplay. And it comes from him moving too quick. But good game nonetheless. Too bad I ran out of time. I guess I ran out of time because you move so fast. So you didn't help yourself, because what are you learning when you're playing quick? Chess is not a game for blitz chess. You play a long game. You didn't play a long game here. You didn't think. I made some mistakes. You found some good moves, and because you played quick, you ran me out of time. Okay, he didn't take the pawn, but he put me in check. So what I need to do is move my king, right? Because I'm down to 2 minutes. Okay, now back to this one. I heard a click. What's happening? Who moved? Okay, check again. Didn't see that check. Let's see, king here. Where do I want to put the king? What do I got? 2 minutes and 45 seconds. I can come back here. The bishop will check, and that's deadly. So, I'm going to go here. King. king b1, queen b3 check. And he may get a draw here. I mean, that's okay. I don't care about the result. I had a mouse slip, but I don't care about that. I got to make sure I don't accidentally mess this game up or lose on time when I don't want to lose on time. Okay, so bishop takes. He needs to take my queen. I take with the pawn. He takes with the b pawn. That's my move again. What's he doing? He's probably moving. Okay, check. Now he's, well, I'll take a draw here if that's what it's going to be. I don't care about the result. And I've got the exchange to theoretically win one game, but I can't sort it out in the time here. So let's see. King a2, king a1 allows bishop takes c3 check. I'll just repeat the position and see what happens. Okay. Mini job, I closed that one down, didn't I? Yeah, I think, well, not quite. Now this is my move again. Okay, he's checking. I'll just go back, and I'm not too worried about the result. Okay. Let's see what's happening here. My move. He moved a rook. So what happens if I check him? I block the queen from attacking g3. And I have some chances to attack him myself. Okay. So let's see. Did he move yet here? I have 3 minutes and 13 seconds left. Let's see. Okay, I just want to make sure I don't accidentally lose this game on time. See, I think I've got counterplay here. I mean, he can win the pawn on b4, but my rook is active, and you can be a pawn down in a rook and pawn ending and hold a draw. Here I'm down 2 pawns, and I'm close to getting at least one of them back at some point. I mean, I'm going to lose the pawn on b4, but then maybe his kingside pawns fall, and even down 2 pawns, if I can generate some counterplay, then his rapid play eventually beat him. See, the reason I'm running out of time in this game, and I have plenty of time in these other games, is because he's playing blitz chess. Okay? Now, if you want to get a win against me, play blitz chess against me. I'm going to lose all my time. Okay? But what did you learn? The answer is you didn't. You didn't get into the deep thought required to move on to the next level of your chess improvement. Now I heard a click. What's happening here? Did he repeat the position? Okay, offer to draw, accept. Let's get it over with. I'm happy to have the draw and be done with another game and get on to thinking about the other ones. So, crazy game. I'm happy with the result. Hopefully you had a nice competitive game. Let's do a quick run through there. I'm running out of time. Okay, I'm playing into the system. Everything's fine. Now I've played for the c4 square. He pushed and I got c4. But man, this game got crazy. And then I took with the knight. Now I wanted to give up a pawn and get the e4 square. Now I get a nice knight. And he found some interesting moves. Okay, I think White's probably winning here. But I couldn't sort it all out. Now I got a good square, and he gave up the exchange. And technically, White's winning, but hey, that's okay. He got his king to safety. I went after a pawn, and suddenly, whoops! There's a discovered check. Didn't even see that coming. And now he starts picking up pawns. There's 2 pawns, but my king is getting safe, or so I thought. And here I just playing to trade off because I know that if I can trade queens, I'll win the ending. And here's where I mouse slipped. I was thinking of something else, and thinking of the queen a2 check, and I went to put the queen back where it came from, and I said, "Oh, my rook's hanging," because I was going to check and then maybe bring the queen down to f7, but that hangs this rook. So, question is, do I want to give up the pawn on c3? I don't know, but anyway, the draw is fine. that was an interesting game. And let's close that window down. But the whole objective is that you can learn something from playing a competitive game with me, and I think he took his time on that. One drawback is when I close these windows down, I lose track of the time. Now, am I in time trouble in any game? Okay, well, I haven't finished talking about this, but you see, run me out of time. He has 99 minutes. He has more time than he started with. And, if he had slowed down a little bit and still played the same moves, I wouldn't have been out of time, and I could maybe demonstrate, what's going wrong with your game. Okay, let's analyze this out. I'm attacking this pawn. So let's go ahead and take this pawn. Will it let me analyze? Okay, whoops. Go back to this. Okay, I'm trying to analyze that position. Okay, now I get this pawn. Now, well, I want it to stay here. It keeps taking me back. I want it to stay on that game. I'm just trying to demonstrate how maybe I have some play. Okay, now I've taken this pawn, and now f5 is under duress. So your king comes, king's up, back to this thing again. Come on, just let me stay here. You silly interface. Okay, where was it? Mini Java. Okay, now, okay, back to there again. I'll bring it back. Okay, now get your pawns running. Now I'm going to, maybe I don't have enough here. But the moment you bring your king over to help, I've gotten rid of one pawn. The moment I've got rid of one pawn. And here comes a check. Okay, where am I going to put my king? Here? Okay. Back to this. The moment you bring your king over to help, eventually I'm going to go steal another pawn. And, maybe I can get enough pawns here. And I'm not going to go any further. But, good game, Mini Java, but you had a chance to play a long game and really take your time and think. And you elected not to. You elected to play quick. And you played well. So I'm complimenting your play. But you see the big difference in the times in the other games. See, here I have 24 minutes and I've been using a lot of time. Now let's see. I want to get my rook to the 7th rank. I'm running down to time here. So rook b1 here threatens to stick my rook on the 7th rank. Do I want to do that? I think I do. It just makes sense, and I don't want to get in time pressure in another game. Okay, now here I got plenty of time. And by me taking time here, by me not moving, I'm helping him. He's in time pressure. He now has time to think the game through. So it's one drawback when you have plenty of time and you take your time is that it does let your opponent solve it, but we're trying to improve his play, okay? We're trying to improve everybody's play. So if I deliberately take my time and not move here, I don't put him in time pressure. He has time to work out things. See, I've been aware I can play bishop takes c4 for a long time. That forces queen takes. I take with the pawn, but now he can take with his c pawn and or b pawn, and he will have a passed c pawn. He also has a potential break with a5. He's not really threatening anything here, right? I don't have to take on c4. I can make him take my queen. Maybe what I can play is rook. No, I can't play rook here. Rook b1, the idea would be to, if queen takes, I take with the pawn and shut everything down, but then he has knight a3. So let me try to figure out how many games I actually have left, because I think I had 10 games going, and I know I've finished a few. Okay, okay, I got 39 minutes here. I've stolen a pawn. Wow, that's bold with the king. Okay, I think my plan was to put the bishop on this diagonal. Let's do that. Okay. So I'm going to close this game down. No need for it. But anyway, good game, Mini Java. Okay, now, what do I have left? This game is still going. Is it my move? Okay, he took my queen. And now, like I say, I've got potential to play for a win here. I don't mind the double pawns. I've stopped his play. Let's see. Did he move? No, he didn't move. Somebody moved. Who moved? Rook b1 is not my move here. Maybe this one that's lit up. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so now I play a4. Right? Trying to get an outside pass pawn. This game may be blockaded. I don't know. I haven't really had time to look at it as deep as I want to. Where's the entry point for my king? There is none. I've got this positional idea. The idea was made without full consideration. I don't have any entry squares for my king. This game is blockaded. Okay, well, if it ends up at a draw, that's all right. Let's see. His move here. I still don't know how many games I have left. Let's see. Where's his? I have this game, this game. It's my move here still. I'm taking my time deliberately. Let's see. His move, or is it my move? No, it's my move. Okay, he's attacking b4. Okay. Do I play a3 here? a3, pawn takes, rook a3, rook g1, rook doubles. I can't play a3. Let's just... I'm a pawn up. Let's just take this knight off and be done with that silly thing. Okay. What do I have? I still don't know how many games I have left. I'm trying to find that out. I think I have 4. Let's see. This is under 2, 3, 4. Do I have any more? I think I have 4 games left. Okay. So... I do have a half-open G file for what it's worth. So let's see where we want things. I want my king on e3. He can't break. First step, put the king on e3. Let's play this out slowly. It's not a draw yet. It's not a draw until it's a draw. Okay, did he move? He took there. Wow. That might give me a tempo. Queen e4 threatens a check. I think this is good for me. Okay, let's try it and see. Okay. Is it his move here? Yep, it's his move. Is it my move here? Yep. Okay, now I get the king to e3. That's the first step. Okay. And I'm giving him time here. I'm going to take a walk here in a minute. Okay. See, his handle says 1-0. If I look at the bar across the area just outside the screen, it looks like I won that game. Okay, now I got the king to e3. That's the first step. Okay. Now, okay, rook c8. He guards himself. Now, I have queen check. And if king h7, I can collect this pawn with check. So he has to play king g7. Now I get a check here. And what if I save it? Let's save it. Let's just play a3. Okay, I'll play a3 and save it. I think he should have taken on c4 with his b pawn. Okay, I know it's my move. I don't know what I want to do here yet. Okay. I think I have 4 games. 24 minutes. Okay, he moved. Now he takes c5. That's an interesting move. What's he trying to do? Is he... if I take the knight, what's he have? I mean, that's the obvious move. Take his knight. He can take on g3. Let's see. Queen takes. I'm unprotecting g3, so he takes that with a pin. Knight. I don't know. I think I take it. It just looks right. Because his king's getting exposed too. That's the whole beauty of this. It just looks right to take that knight. Okay, so he sealed off the A file. I think that's a mistake because now I have a pawn up and I have some possibilities to do things. So now let's go ahead and give the check. I think this feels right. And if we trade queens, we go into rook ending. That's great. I'm coming back to this one still. Is it my move? Yep. Okay. Now I've got the B file shut down. So the first step is go to the G file. And we'll see if this goes anywhere. Okay, that's the first step. Okay, my move there. Okay, I heard a click. Who moved? He put his king there. Now we check. Okay, my move here still. I don't want to move here yet. Don't ask me why. I just trying to help this guy. He's a good person. Okay, now we get ready to double up rooks. Okay, so there we go. Now, do I want to trade queens, or do I want to let him trade queens? The queen side is locked. I'm a pawn up on the king side. If I let him take, I clear e5 for my rook. And that'll support an h5 push. And it's going to be very hard for him to get at that f pawn. So I'm just going to play rook e1 and go about my business. Okay, rook f1. Now I don't want to move here yet. Is it my move here? Ooh, where's he going? Okay. Well, fortunately, my g-pawn is stopping him from mating me on g2. But his king is exposed. I have a rook check on the back rank that looks awful inviting here. I mean, it just seems... Where's he put his king? He comes up and I check him again and I pick up his queen. What am I missing? Rook check. Okay, he can block with the bishop, but I just take that. Yeah, this has got to be winning. Check. Okay, my move here still, I know. Just take and study the game. You're doing great. He's a good player. He's got some talent. Okay, he took. Now, there's my pawn ahead on f6, and it's now my move again. Okay, check. He's disconnected. Hope he comes back, but I think you're losing this now. Your attack started first. I had to start mine, and these things are crazy. I think I was wrong to play h4, but we want to experiment and make something useful that people can learn from. So I weaken my own pawn structure. Maybe with correct play you have a win here. I don't know. I'm playing a simul. I'm trying to do all these things. Okay, is it my move here? Yes. Oh, he's giving me a pass pawn. Okay, do I want the pass pawn? I have 41 minutes. I have a... so if I play b5, I've completely locked the board up. And I think I can make a break somewhere. I can break a file open. f3, and that'll open up the e file. If he doesn't take, I take, and eventually I can shove d5 in. And there's all kinds of pawn breaks here. There's all kinds of ways through. So I think if just instinct tells me if I take a protected pass pawn, I can't be doing wrong. So I can play on instinct, and I know I haven't moved here. Okay, what do I have left? I have 22 minutes here. This game's over. I have, I think this game's over. Let's see. I have 39 minutes here. He has 14. I have 41 minutes here. He has 14. You know what? I have to move. I think if I don't move soon, I get timed out. So he's not threatening anything. I'm gonna back my bishop up, just because I can. I play that because I think if you don't move in a while, you time out. Okay, now what's he trying to do? Play g5 and go after that pawn. Well, I said the idea here was to play rook e5 and try to get h5 in. So now let's check my times. b5. It's really funny. I didn't even think about this game. I just didn't want to move. I wanted to come back on it. But I don't want to take on c4. I think it's a mistake. Because he can get the activity for the ending. But we'll see. Okay, there comes a5. Now he's making me take, or is he? Queen takes, knight takes, rook b2, b5. Play queen b1. Where's his queen go? I'll just take his queen. You know, I gotta take a break here. He still has 5 minutes to return? Okay, I heard a click. Is it my move anywhere? No, he took there. Now I gotta come there. Now he plays b4. Okay, fine. He plays b4. He plays b4. Okay, rook d8. Now I play h5. All according to plan. Did I hear a disconnect? Oh, he disconnected. He may have violated our fair player policy. Well, I think he's losing here. So let's see. I talked a little bit about this. I was probably wrong to play h4. Here he's setting up opposite side castling. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not. I'm looking at the wrong game. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's go back here. Okay. He's setting up opposite side castling. Here comes his attack. Here goes mine. But I think I was wrong to play h4 because it puts the tension closer to my king a little quicker. But I just have to liquidate stuff. That's all I can do. See, I'm push. Attack a rook. Open up the position. That's all I can do. And maybe there's something in here I don't have time to try to figure it out. But all of a sudden I'm starting to feel better. I get this check in, and everything is working out. So it's risky. Maybe there's a win in there for black that we missed. H4 was probably wrong on my part. But anyway, thanks for the game. And I think I have 3 left. Yep, I'm down to 3 games. Wonder what my score is. I had a draw and a loss that I know of. No, I had 2 losses. I lost on time and I resigned 1. I have 1 draw. So that's 3. What I got? 4 wins, 2 losses, and a draw. That's 7 games. That might be my score. And I'm trying to get wins in all the other games. I'm not sure if I'm getting them because I really don't know what's happening in some of them. Okay, there came b4. Okay, I need to take. Okay. Now he blocked. Now I think he's in trouble because there's a pin here. He moves his king. I take one of the h-pawns. Okay, so let's see. My rook's under attack. What if I put it on d2? Can I do that? And he plays knight c4. And I play rook d3. Well, maybe he wins. Well, good for him. Excuse me. Okay. Question is, which pawn do I want? I have 41 minutes and I need to take a break. You want the f pawn or the h pawn? I want the f pawn because then I'm attacking the d pawn and threatening to uh, check on e5. So rook takes f5 it is. Okay, now always check. It might be mate, but that lets his king out. What if I just enforce... Well, let's see. Might lose that pawn on f6. I'm not being careful. I think what I need to do is take a walk. Okay, I will be back in a couple of minutes. This simul is now 2 hours and 45 minutes old, or at least the video is. It started a few minutes before that. I started getting the games going, but I will be back in just a couple of minutes. Okay, as I was walking away from this, I figured out the way to do it is to play g4. Uh, Now, if he plays rook takes e5, he can get on the d file. And let's see, g5, rook takes, rook d8. And his idea is to play rook d1 and rook a2. So I gotta watch that a3 pawn. Dang. Okay, let me make sure that I'm not running into accidental time control. 36 minutes, 38. Oh, he took there. Now I got the file. Okay, now he's playing there, pressuring on that pawn. Okay, you're going to win a pawn. Good for you. Didn't see that coming. Well, you know what? I can go win a pawn. I can't. Let's see. I was thinking bishop a4, but that's just lunacy. It hangs the piece. But I can get there later, maybe. Let's play a3. Okay. Now, he has no entry squares. Let's go... What do I want to attack? The pawn on a7 or a5, the pawn on f5, the pawn on h5. How about if I fork his pawns? Yeah, that looks good. He can't... Let's see. Yeah, I'll just do that. I have probably more than one way to do it. Now I get this in, and then I get the bishop to a4. Okay, it's still my move here. I heard a click. He took. Now I play bishop a4. Now I'm pressuring you on c6 for what it's worth. Okay. Okay, now I get this pawn. Okay. My move here. You know, I may have to give up a pawn here. Let's see. f4. But you know, g4. I don't want him on the open file, but he's going to get an open file. I got to solve this one. Candidate moves g4, pawn takes check, and rook takes d5. Those are the candidate moves. Okay, so each one has its plus and minuses, which I've kind of already talked about. If a open file comes up, his rook could get down to a1 and take my pawn and on a3, and he's got a very dangerous advance pass pawn. I'm trying to avoid that. Let's see. How can I avoid that? Now it's my move somewhere. Well, I have plenty of time. I'm a pawn ahead, but you know, rook endings a pawn up are a lot of work. Okay. My rook on g2 is just out of play. I put it there in case the g file opened up. Just offer him a draw, I suppose. I think he would take it, but I'm trying to make an instructive video too, and keep the pressure on. Give you the chance to feel the competitiveness of a game. So. I just heard a click. Did I win a game? Maybe I did. Yeah, g4 seems like the logical move, but g4, he takes on e5, I take on e5. Now he plays rook d8. I can play f4. Now rook d1. I got this great pawn majority rolling. f5, I can start things going myself. You know, I got to get and you know, I've got some very active pawns. Yeah, g4 just feels like the right move. I walked away a while ago and it just feels right. And okay, so there's a check. He's going to win a pawn. King g2, avoid a future back rank check. Let's try that. Okay, now I kick the knight and I go. He's going to win 2 pawns. Well, good for him. Okay. Let's see. What's happening here? I win a pawn. Or he resigned. Okay. So he missed the best defense. This is a very complex game. Let's run through it real quick. And I'm down to 2 games. Whoops. Okay. Oh, check there. Didn't see that. Okay, fine. King h3. Ugh. Knight f3. Bishop takes. Rook takes check. King g4. Yeah, we'll have to survive. I think this game is ending. Okay. Now he gets on the d file, and I got to get my pawns rolling. If he takes on h5, I didn't mention it. Okay, I got to grab that. if he takes on h5, what game was I talking about? h5. If he takes on h5, it opens up the g file. My rook can come down and penetrate. Let's cover this game. His knight on h4 seemed a little misplaced. Oh, my move again. Okay, I'm down 2 pawns. I got to get on an open file. Let's attack the rook. I mean, not attack the rook. Attack the knight. Okay, we'll try that and see what happens. I'm going to try and finish this simul here. If is it my move? No, it's his move. Okay. Where's he trying to go? Okay. Now I'll just play a4. That way that pawn's safe, at least for now. Okay, now we get this pawn going. And hope for the best. You know, I think I can generate something with my pawn majority just as quick as he can with his. So I've got a 5-on-3 here. Even with the double pawns, that's at least a 4-on-3. I'm getting ready for f5 and try to crack through with my pawns. Okay, so let's see. Back to this one. Let's run through this. And I took here and he had to take. And now I kind of did some funky maneuvering with my knights. Now he's got these. Oh, his move, my move. Okay. Oh, he's given me a weakness, a target. Or is he trying to checkmate me? He's probably trying to checkmate me. Knight f2 check. King g4. Knight g4. Wait. Knight f2 check. King h4. Knight g4. King h5. Let's see. I have 35 minutes. I'm going to come back on that one. Let me get through this. Make sure it's not my move anywhere. Okay. Now I've got to play f5, I think. Well, I'm going to come back on both of those. Let me get through this game. Okay. And then I'll sort them out. Try to win one and lose one and call it a day. If I can save the one I'm losing, great. If I can't, good game for you. Okay, queen e6. Okay, so I've got pressure on d5, but he's got it overprotected to the max. So I'm just clearing squares so my knights can maneuver. I want to get one to f4, and there I do that. And I thought about some point of taking that knight on d7, but I never did. I'm kind of glad I didn't. Now I've lost the chance. And I come up with some ideas of trying to generate some kind of an attack against his king. But it turned out it wasn't there. I stopped and covered that pawn first. And now he started liquidating it. And a little scary here. I thought I might be losing a piece. But I think if h6, I can come back to g4. But then my bishop doesn't have a retreat. Maybe he wins a piece there. Anyway, now I'm safe. And he's trying to play e3 and deflect on, remove the defender of g3, so I stopped that. And I just thought it was best to take that critter. And here I got the idea, try to get an outside pass pawn. And here he's trying to crack through with f4, and I set up a blockade. Now, but then I thought, well, wait a minute, maybe the whole position is blockaded. And here I got the idea, let's get the king to e3. Now, I do have ways to break here. My plan was to drive him over to the g file. He should just switch his rooks over to the g file. But then what I want to do is play f3. And if he takes, my king takes, and there's an open e file. If he doesn't take, I take. And there's a potential to play a d5 or f5, depending on which way he takes back. So I think I still got some play, but I didn't get a chance to fully evaluate it. And now he lost a piece. I mean, lost a pawn, and he's about to lose some more pawns. And let's see, we're making some comments. Let's see. What's it? Anyway, too short a time to try to sort out the comments. Whether there's a question here. Queen F3 on move 40 or Queen F6. Let's get to that point. Let's see. Come on, go there. There it is. Queen F6. Yeah, A5 seemed to be a critical mistake because it gave me a protected pass pawn. Queen F6. You know, it's still a game. It's a tough game to play from both sides. Okay, I'm going to close that down. And what do I have left? I have to move in this game. F5, I think. Get those pawns rolling. Do I want to play F5? I don't know. You know, he's gonna have a couple monster pass pawns here. Not much I can do about it, except start my own pawn. So F5 is almost forced. Let the chips fall where they may. Okay. Now, what's he trying to do here? Trying to checkmate me? Knight F2 check, king up, knight G4. If I advance my king, he advances his king. Maybe this is a position where I want to play bishop D7, but he just brings his king up. Maybe I have to play bishop E8 here. That'll keep his king out of F7. Now knight check, king up, knight G4, king up again. Yeah, that's the way. I mean, it's not much hope. I'll just see what happens. You know, unfortunately, he doesn't have much time. He doesn't have much time either. He's got 11 minutes. But I have, okay, he checked. Okay, now king up. Let the chips fall where they may. I'm going to get mated or I'm not. Maybe I can mate him. Maybe I can construct a mating net. You know, get my king to G6. Anything can happen. Okay, so here we go. King H5. Oh, wait. King H5. He gets a check. I have to play H3 here. H3 attacks his knight. And he can pin it with rook H2, but he's not threatening it. Okay, so H3. Let's see what happens. Okay, I have 2 games left. And I have 30 minutes in one, I have 25 in the other. And I'm threatening to crash a pass pawn through because I have a 5-on-3 majority, but his king's in the vicinity to defend. Now, interesting thing, Black's threatening to take pawns off and run his own pawn through, but it's going to take him a few moves. Okay, let's count them for Black. Rook takes C3, rook takes A3, that's 2 moves. Now, if he pushes his C pawn, he's not ready to go to C2. But even then, if he stops and takes the pawn on B4, that's a 1, 2, 3, 4 moves just to get all 3 of my pawns off. And his pawns are still only on the 5th rank. Meanwhile, I'm threatening to try to crash through here. My pawns are a little more advanced than his because well, are they? I've got 3 pawns on the 5th. He has 2 on the 5th. But I'm threatening to take on E6 and undermine the pawn on G6. So E takes F6 if F takes E6 if F takes E6. I get H takes G6. Check. Okay, took that way. And then I think I crashed through. So let's go this way. Okay. So I have 2 games left, and this simul is now 3 hours and 5 minutes old, and I want to try to end both games at the same time if I can. Could play g5, but you know, again, his pawns run slowly. Okay, king up. Now, can I do unto him that he's trying to do unto me? If I play king h5, he gets knight f6 check in. You know, the idea is I'm trying to mate him while he's trying to mate me. If I take the knight, I do get mated. Huh, clever. Okay, so where do I want to put my rook? Okay, what have I got left? I have 30 minutes. Okay, I have 30 minutes, and I have 25 minutes here. I have plenty of time. Okay, he's attacking from behind. I can take on g6. Which pawn? H pawn? It's with check, and I get another protected pass pawn. Wow. Could it be that simple? HG6 check. What's he play? F takes G6. I get F. I take on G6. He has to put his king back like to G8, and I've got some advanced pawns. Which pawn do I take with? Let's take with this pawn. F pawn. Now, what's happening here? Okay. My pawn on A4 is okay. It's guarded by my bishop, so his A pawn is not a problem. He has tried to mate me but he's weakened his own pawn structure just a wee bit. I can't put my king on H5 to try to mate him because I get forked. Now I can pin his G pawn. Maybe that's the idea. Pin his G pawn. It's one of those things where one of us is going to get mated, and well, we both think we're mating the other one. I think I'm mating him. He thinks he's mating me, and one of us is right and one of us is wrong. Shoot. I'd love to play king h5, but knight f6 check kills me. So I think I have to play rook c7. Rook Rook c7, what's he do? Rook h2, what's he threatening? He's threatening knight f2. I don't know, let's see. What about bishop? What about bishop f7? That attacks a pawn. If he plays g6, I can take on e6. I don't know. I wanted to play bishop d7 earlier, but his king would get out to f7. Since I've got his king corralled, maybe the ticket is to go attack that pawn and try to divert him. I think bishop f7 is the ticket, because if I win both those pawns, I come out okay. All right, now he's taken, and I'll check him. And my rook can even go to the d file here and threaten all kinds of problems. Let's see, rook d8-2 threatens rook d8 mate. What's he do? I don't think he has a move. Okay. So if the king moves at all, it's mate and 1. I think he's forced. I think it's forced mate now. Okay. So I think this game will be over. A little lucky here. He gave up. He protected that pawn on h5 earlier, and it got away. Now what's happening other game? I've got 26 minutes. Oh, he's running out on time. It's a shame. Okay, he played rook h2. Now what's he planning? To play knight f2 and mate me? Okay, so I've got to take on e6. And now if knight f2, I can take on f5, and I'm threatening or covering h3. So it's a pawn. I got to take it, and let's see what he has in mind. Threatening to take on f5. I'm threatening to take on d5. I'm close to a draw. Doesn't mean I'm going to draw. It just means I'm close to a draw. Okay, so now he put the knight on e3. If I trade bishop for knight, I might be able to draw the pawn ending, or the rook ending a pawn down. What's he threatening? He's threatening... Oh, he's threatening knight g2 check, king h4, g6 mate. Ugh. Okay. I got to push and hope for the best. Okay, g4. Oh, he's going to play rook d3. Okay. Well, let's see. Rook takes, pawn takes, e6, e2. Rook takes, pawn takes, e6, d2, d7. He makes a queen, I make a queen with mate. So rook takes, pawn takes, d6. If he plays king here, I check with the pawn, and he goes back here. I push here. He comes up. Yeah, this is routine. Routine win. Okay, now I got to take with the bishop and go into a pawn ending or rook ending. Hopefully he takes my bishop. He did. Okay, now I've got some chances to hold this. Okay, king takes. His mate threats are over. And now I push here and get ready to make a queen. Okay, so now he's on that. Let's see. Where do I want to put my rook? c5. I'm attacking a5. He takes and I take. I think I'm getting some drawing chances here. Okay. Rook c5. I got a nice active king. Okay. Now what's happening there? Like I say, if king f8, g7 check, king g8, d2 threatens to make a queen, king f7, I promote one pawn. Okay, now g7 check. If he goes to e8, it's mate. And I play here. Okay, he took that. I got to take this guy. Okay, I'm suddenly feeling a lot better about this. What about g5? Yeah, I missed that. Well, I activate my king. King h5. Charge! Okay, he played rook a1. What if he played g5? I can say activate my king. King h5, rook takes, and I get all kinds of counterplay. Yeah. Okay, so now the key here is to get an active king and tie his king up. Now, if I play king f5, he could go after my h-pawn. And if I take his a-pawn, he does get a passed pawn, but it's a rook pawn. I think I'm good enough to hold that. So we've got to get the king active. Keep his king out of the game. That's the key here. And shield myself from the checks. And if he advances his a-pawn, I put my rook behind the a-pawn. Yeah, that he has a passive rook. I have an active rook. Whoops, 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 whoops. Yeah, don't release. Okay, almost had a mouse slip there. Okay, let's put the rook on a5. I think I'm close to getting a draw here. Okay, he's got time to move. He pushed. Okay, but his pawn can only go so far. And then his rook is stuck. And mine has moves. Now the question is, where do I want my... Do I want to push my pawn, h-pawn? No, I want to be able to take... Let's see. King e6 threatens to play king f7. And a2. Put my king on f7. Then I'm going to lose my f-pawn. I have to keep the king on... But, you know, I think I'm still drawing. Looks like game ended. I'm down to 1. And I have 26 minutes here. I'm not offering a draw because he's playing for a win. Maybe my king is just better where it's at. h4, he plays a2. I play h5. King g8. Rook a7 ties his king up. King f8. I don't know, it's one of those things where I could end... I have to tie his king up. Dang, I don't know what to do here. I gotta get my king active. I can't let his king out. Of course, his king go to g6 now. Okay, so the question is, do you want to trade your A pawn for one of my pawns? At least I've got his king tied up. Okay, so I have 20. He does. So I have to take. I think I can hold the draw here. King e6. King e5. Now I think h4 does the trick. H4, rook h3, I play rook h5. Okay, so let's see. So h4. Okay. Now I take g5 away from his king. So I think this should end up a draw, but I'm not going to offer it yet. He can't get his king out. I can't get my king over, but he can't get his king out. So it does look like this should be a draw. Avoided a loss. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, it's one thing to draw a theoretical game, though. It's another thing to learn from it. See, essentially, a king and a rook pawn. I'm sorry, a rook pawn. King and rook pawn won't win unless you have the king way cut off. And my king is awful close. But how does he trade his g pawn for my h pawn? It's not that easy. If he puts his rook on g3, my king approaches king f5, and but eventually when he plays g5, I'll trade the pawn, and his rook pawn isn't enough. So it should be a theoretical draw. He's not in as bad time pressure as he was. I need to use the restroom, so we're down to one game. If you're hanging on for the whole simul, watch this far. Great, you won't mind a break. I will be back in about 2 or 3 minutes. Okay? Okay, so he's played g6 here, and it should be, like I say, a theoretical draw. But he has a pawn, so he doesn't want to take a draw, assuming. He can get one at his leisure. Probably just take over the 7th rank and tie his king back. That makes sense. And then just keep my rook on the 7th rank. And if he plays rook h4, or I'm sorry, rook h3, attacking h4, I can just drop the rook back and he can't make any progress. So rook check. And he has 2 minutes to make a move, plus a 30-second increment every time he moves. This is why you save your time. King h6. I thought he was going to go back. Okay. Why did I miss that? So, I just back my rook up, I suppose. Rook a4. And if he attacks my pawn, fine. King f6. You can't make any progress. Yeah, just protect my pawn. You can go back to the 7th rank. Oh, there's a check. Okay, where do I want to put my king? King e6, king e4, probably about the same. Send him to e4. That way, if the pawns get traded, my king is closer to where it needs to be. e6, I might stretch him out too far. Now I'm threatening to go to e3 with the king and be close enough to draw. He can't play g5. He drops his rook. Whoops. Okay. If king g7, I can just check him and ignore the rook trade if he offers it. Put the rook on a6. He just can't make progress here, and my king is going to hold on. If he takes his rook off the f file, my king gets over to g3. So, here's the situation I was talking about earlier. He took his time, and had he played quickly, he may not have found the right moves he did, but he may have run me out of time. And I know I sat for a long time not moving, and I remembered if you sit idle too long, you forfeit. So I just played a move, and it turned out to be a lousy move, because I hadn't really studied the position at all. I had so much time available. I was trying to catch up on the other games and then come to vote it. And then I realized, oops, I have to move. So what did I play? Bishop d1, and it dropped a pawn or two. Well, no big deal. Okay, rook f1. Where's he going? He's trying to go to... what if I just bring my king back to e3? That's what I'm trying to do. King e3. Yeah. He can't play g5. I play rook h6 check and take his pawn. I just have to make sure I don't trade rooks and end up losing a king and pawn ending. Unless he's trading a set of pawns first, leaving him with an H pawn, which would be a draw. He's down to 1:05. So we should see, I guess the first question to ask is, when does the 50 move rule apply? Let's look up. Scrolling down. Let's see. Rook takes f4 check. Okay, every time a pawn moves, it starts the 50 move rule over, right? Okay. So the last pawn move was at move now suppose I just cut his rook off, or king off. Or do I want to play king e2 here, attack his rook? Yeah, let's just go attack his rook. My king's closer to where it wants to be. I don't know. Or did I play it? Yeah, I did play it. Okay. Mouse is jumpy. Now it gives him a chance to go off the f-file and let my king cross over. I can always play rook f6 in a moment. Okay, so what I was saying and left unfinished. 50 moves without a pawn move or a capture results in a draw. Okay, now I put my rook on a6 just to keep his king out. Whoops, did I drop my pawn? Let's see, maybe I blundered. Well, you know, hey, who cares? Shoot. I blundered my pawn. Well, that's okay. I wasn't paying attention. Okay. I'll start checking him. I wasn't paying attention. I'm guilty. Okay, I got to get this thing over with, so let's blunder to draw away. Okay, fine. It's theoretically lost. Let's get my king closer. I'll just play quickly. Okay, we're going to play quickly and see what happens. Okay, my king's closer for what it's worth. I have to get this thing over in about 30 minutes. 30 minutes, he has 30 seconds to move. That will mean the game will last 30 seconds to move. Okay, rook there. Now let's get the king closer. Actually, let's cut his king off. See what happens there. I have to move quickly. Okay, now king back. Okay, now what do I do now? What do I do now? Just call it a game? Let's see. I don't really see a good move. So just get some distance between the rook and the pawns. See if he can advance. Okay, I'll play a few moves. Okay, check. Now I go, what do I go with the king? F2 or H2? Whoops. F2 or H2, which way? Yeah, go to H2. More stalemating possibilities. Okay, king H5. Now rook D4. It's pretty hopeless. How could I throw that pawn away? I just wasn't paying attention. But, you know, I didn't want to offer a draw because he's playing the pawn up. Yeah, I don't care about the result. Okay, now he doesn't make any progress here. I'll just put my rook down on the 8th rank again. Hello. Okay, so now, for what it's worth, I'll just play it on. Okay. Okay. Let's just pin his pawn because I can. And let's see. Try for the old stalemate somehow. Let's see. Rook A5. Okay. Rook A5. Now he checks me. Go in the corner. Yeah. Gotta try for some checks. Check him right out of there. If it goes to G3, I'm going to check on A3. Right? Make him go back. Let's get the rook some distance for what it's worth. It pushes G pawn. I don't know if I can set up a stalemate trick or not. G pawn pushes. Now what do I do? Pin it? Yes. I pin the pawn. Theoretically lost here. So how can I set up a stalemate trick here? He's getting ready to push G3, so let's stop that. And we start checking his king like crazy. If he goes to F4. Come on, put your rook on G2. Stalemate my king. I can try some tricks like rook takes H3. Yeah, rook G2, rook takes H3. Winning a pawn from you. And if you take my rook, it's stalemate. He's gaining time on the clock, so he's got. But I want to get this game over. I've got things to do. I've got to leave here. In 40 minutes, so 30 seconds a move, 20 moves. If he takes time, I'll just have to. That's why I have to play quick. Every time he moves a pawn, it starts the count over. So move 84, he made a pawn move. H3 would be a great move. I could still play rook H3, and if pawn takes, rook could stalemate again. So H2 and rook G2 allow me some tricks. I mean, I blundered. He could blunder too, and that's why you learn. You blunder and you throw a win away, and there goes the game. Okay, rook B4. What's that do? I guess I have to keep my rook on the third rank. He's stopping me from checking when I penetrate. I guess I have to put the king down on the end. Or the rook down on the end. Okay, king F4, rook A. He gets his king to G3, and it's Coyton's. Well, I'll put it down on H8. King H4, rook H3 stops him from coming in, but then he gets all kinds of tricks. No, there's no hope here. Rook C3, king H4. Yeah, I gotta try something like, just gotta keep the king in the corner and try for stalemate here. Let's see, rook C3. King h2 stops g2, or just stops g3. I don't know. There's nothing really to do here. Oops, what happened to my board? Here it comes. Okay. Now where I put my king? h1. That's the old stalemate try. Of course, I get I think I have to go to G1 here. Invite him to play rook G2 check. Okay, G3, he's not cooperating. Now he's threatening mate, so I got to bring the rook back. Okay, now what happens? H2 check. Hey, do I have stalemate chances? Somehow I think he's done it wrong. Let's see. But probably not. I think I have to play king h1 here, right? So I play king f1, it's mate. Okay, so let the chips fall where they may. Okay, king g4. Let's see, rook check. Always check, it might be mate. I think I get away. Rook h4 check. Hey, look at that. Amazing, huh? Rook h4 check. He takes my rook, and it's stalemate. Wow. Nobody ever won a game by resigning, but you can draw them. Draw. Boy, talk about lucky. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll upload video. Follow on Twitter to get notified. Oh my goodness. Well, it was probably a draw. Maybe he had winning. Probably had several wins in there, but hey, you know, you had fun. That's the most important thing. I had fun. I mean, this was a lot of fun. I don't care if I win or lose these games. I want everyone to get better than me. What kind of ego do I have? I'll never be world champion. I'll leave my legacy in my own way, and that's helping you improve. Okay? All right. Let's do a quick run through. I'm not sure if I did run throughs on both these games. Let me close the video off with that. Let's look at this Isaac the Bird game. Let's see. That one's still going. What happened there? Okay. Yeah, he allowed me to steal a pawn on h5. Okay, so the game's even. It's still even. And this is when we end up locking up the queen side. Okay, we ended up locking up the queen side here. And I said he had a c4 break, c5 break. Let's take it away. Then he chose to lock it up. So now I'm playing for a trick on, you know, he gets the c4 square. I'm trying to play for some tricks on that h5 pawn at some point. I don't remember where. Yeah, here it is. Well, no, not yet. Here I was thinking of doubling my rooks first in case the g file ever opened up. That never happened. Now I'm setting up a trick. And here I got the idea, I'll move my knight to a5, and I didn't even see bishop takes c1. Here I thought I could get away with it. I didn't want him to trade that knight off. Whoops, wrong button. And whoops, there it goes. Okay, fine. Now I stole the pawn. and put the bishop there just to have pressure on g6, and I decided just to liquidate. And I think he took the wrong way. I think the other pawn was the way to take, and he probably should have opened up the a file for some counterplay, but he didn't. And now I figured my pawn would be safe on f6, and I soon found out it wasn't necessarily that safe. But I found the right way. G4 I think is the right way. Because even though he gets a rook active, I have a pawn majority too, and mine was mobile. His wasn't. He needed to collect pawns first, and mine's just doing it in. And now it's just a routine check. And then after e7, he can play king f7, but I promote on g8 with check. He takes. I play on e8 with check, and he stopped cold. So let's close that one and run through this one. Since I'm sure everybody that played me wants the comments. Okay, let's see. So following the routine here, everything's bright and even. I ran into some problems on d3, and I didn't even anticipate knight a5 or knight a4, and now he liquidated that knight. I guess that was good. And he said something in the comments he could have won a pawn, but let's see, queen b3, and here's somewhere in here is where he said something about trading queens and win a pawn. Maybe he's right. I'm not sure where. Yeah, it looks like queen takes, and then knight c2 attacks the rook on e1 and wins the pawn on d4. Okay, so he missed that. I missed that. And here, I moved because I realized he had to move. Or if you're idle 30 minutes, you can lose a game, and unless they change that rule. I wanted to work on my other games and come back here. He was down on time, and I wanted him plenty of time to think. And I was going to come back and work on it, and I ended up picking a move just out of random, and it turned out it wasn't a good move. The alternative was to play bishop takes c4, and he has to play queen takes because his queen is loose. I play pawn takes. They takes with the b pawn. Now he's got to pass c pawn, and he's got some play on the open file. But hey, I get a pass pawn too. That probably holds. If he breaks with a5, I'm going to have a pass pawn too. So that's probably the correct move. Bishop takes c4. I don't have an analysis board here, and I can't look it up. But here, all of a sudden, here I think everything's fine. Whoops, knight's on the pawn on d4. So I try to generate some kind of counterplay against his pawns, and I'm just down 2 clear pawns, and I think he didn't quite follow up right, because here, even though I got some play, a little bit of activity, I'm just down 2 clear pawns, so he needs to punt here, so to speak, just consolidate his position. I played a4 just to make sure that pawn was safe, but f5 created some weaknesses. He's trying for a mate, and he came close, given imagination, and I can't play king h5 and try to mate him, and but then I start picking up pawns and trading stuff off, and I think this is now a draw. And I misplayed it. I hung my h-pawn, and I talked about all the comments here, and the only hope is a stalemate try, and I just completely was oblivious to the fact that I would hang my h-pawn, which I do here in a couple of moves. See, I'm no longer controlling f4. That was always under my control. But I just put my king back on e3, and the game's a draw. But whoops, there goes the pawn. Now just hoping for cheapos, and I was trying to find several stalemate tries. But here, I'm not sure. You have to look this up. It might be that White's got a draw here. It might be that Black can't win this. That pawn is just too far advanced. Because I played after king g4, what else does he have? What's he do here? But again, it might be a win, but it's got danger in it. Because my king is stalemated. My rook tries to follow his king everywhere, and unless he can take with the rook, or interpose the rook and clear the stalemate, there's drawing chances. So he played. He didn't have a lot of time. He had enough time maybe to figure it out, but it's a long game, and chess is like that. One bad move can spoil a whole good game, and we each had one near the end. It should have been a draw, and it wasn't, and then he gave the draw back, and after king h3, he walked into a stalemate trick, and game over. So I thank everybody for looking. There'll be another one as soon as I can. This video is almost going to hit the 4-hour mark, so you'll learn a lot from exactly how I think, I hope. I want to thank you so much for your time, and I got to run. I got chess to teach. I'm a full-time professional chess coach, and I'm having a ball doing nothing but chess. It's a dream come true. Take care, everybody. Thanks.